Thank you, madam. Welcome.
Welcome all. We will start the inauguration shortly. Dear participants, a warm good evening to all of you. Let us start the program. I welcome Dr. Shivli Joseph, Head of the Department, Computer Science and Engineering, Government Engineering College, Wayanad, to welcome all the resource persons and participants.
Respected principal, uh, faculty members, coordinators, and the participants. Today, we are happy to start the new program, Cybersecurity Bootcamp, that is for safeguarding systems and network. And I'm very happy to welcome all of you to this program. And I will explain this is the agenda of our program. We start with a welcome address and followed by our presidential address by our principal and inaugural address by Dr. Manoj VN, who is an expert in cybersecurity, and felicitation by our ECE HOD Dr. Smith MS, and vote of thanks by Professor Danya Raj. She is a co-coordinator of the program also. Welcome once again, all of you, to this program. Before that, I would give you a small introduction about our college. All of you are familiar with the college, Government Engineering College, Wayanad. This is situated in Kerala state, and this is one of the 9 government engineering colleges under Kerala government. And this college is located in Manandawadi, in this hilly district of Wayanad. And we have 5 regular BTech courses: CSE, ECE, Electrical, Mechanical, and Civil and Environmental Engineering. And we are running 2 MTech courses: Communication Engineering and Signal Processing, and Computer Networks and Security. And this is the main reason I am opted this Atal FTP based on cybersecurity. And we are the research center under Kerala Technological University. And all our programs are NBA accredited. Eligible programs are NBA accredited. Only civil engineering is started recently. That will not, is not eligible for accreditation now. This is some glimpse of our college. It's located in a scenic beauty of tea estate, and we have 2 academic blocks, an amenity center, placement unit, 3 hostels, and it is national highway. And I would like to introduce our coordinators. Myself, Dr. Shibli Joseph, HOD in Computer Science and Engineering Department, and along with me, Dr. Professor Danya Raj. She is Assistant Professor in CSE. And we have Sujit Kumar KB, Trade Instructor Grade 1 in CSE Department. And about the program, in the era of escalating cyber threats, it is imperative for educators to stay ahead of the curve. FTP is designed to equip faculty members with the latest tools, techniques, and insights in cybersecurity. Understand core. The objectives of the program are to understand core principles of cybersecurity, explore threat detection and mitigation strategies, gain hands-on experience with security tools, and learn best practices for securing systems and network. And this is a schedule we already shared with the participants. And this is a 6-day FDP. Day 1, we start at 6 p.m. The 6 to 6:30 p.m. is inauguration session, followed by 1.5 hours is a one session, 6:30 to 8 and 8 to 9:30. In all other 4 days, it is from 6 to 7:30 and 7:30 to 9 p.m. And in the day 6, we have starting Saturday, that is start at 2 p.m. And we have 3 sessions on that day, followed by a feedback and validatory session. And the resource persons, we have a array of very excellent and experienced resource persons from different states of India. All of them have vast experience in AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, and high performance computing. And I would like to introduce our resource person. Today we have S. Kranti Kumar. He is the Associate Professor in Symbiosis International University, Hyderabad. And earlier he worked in IBM too. And he will explain about cybersecurity landscape, CAA triad, risk management and security framework, followed by Dr. Manoj VN. He is a retired professor from Defense Engineering College, Ethiopia, has a vast experience of 22 years. And he will explain about security control types, roles in cybersecurity, live capture analysis, and tools. And we have Dr. Yaduvir Singh. He is from Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Greater Noida. He will explain about cybersecurity trends and career pathways. And we have Debashri Das. He is Associate Professor in Biju Patnaik University, Odisha. We have Dr. D. Ramesh, Assistant Professor, and he is a instructor in Cisco Center for Excellence in Kids Warangal Engineering College. And we have Dr. Manjunath Tari, Professor and Head of CSE Department, Alva Institute of Engineering and Technology, Modibidri, Bangalore. And we have Dr. Mrs. Vinny Sharma from Galgothias University, Greater Noida, from Department of Forensic. We have Dr. Hiranvi Nath, Assistant Professor in NIT Calicut, and formerly he worked in Rebit also. We have Dr. Madhuri Geda. He is Associate Professor in Information Technology, SLR TCE Mumbai. And we have Dr. Jagdeep Singh, Assistant Professor in San Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology, Longowal, Punjab. And the topics are also listed here. We are planning from the basics to the tools and the career pathways we have. And this FDV is conducted in a online mode, fully online, and the link will be same for all the sessions. And we have an assessment from Adult Learning Technology portal, and we need minimum 80% of attendance and 70% of marks in the examination, and that will be conducted in Saturday. Then only the certificate can be downloaded from the ACT portal. Thank you all. And this is a glimpse of the program. Now I would come to my official duty. I would like to welcome our principal to this function, and I would like to warmly welcome our guest, Dr. Manoj VN, and our HOD of Electronics and Communication Engineering, CNIT, and my co-coordinators, Dr. Danya Raj and Sujit Kumar KB. Also, I would like to extend my warm welcome to all the participants. Without them, we cannot materialize the same. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would like to invite our principal for the presidential address. Thank you all once again. Welcome once again.
Good evening, all. Am I audible? Shibli, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good evening to all of you. First of all, let me congratulate Dr. Shibli, Dr. Danyaraj, and Sujit Kumar for organizing an Atal program, AICT Training and Learning Academy program, a 6 days program in a very relevant topic. As Dr. Shibli pointed out, our campus is a beautiful campus consisting of 5 beta courses. All beta courses are accredited by NBA. And I warmly welcome all the participants and the resource persons to the program. Today we have Dr. Manoj as the chief guest of the inaugural function, and Dr. Kranti Kumar from IBM and Symbiosis as the first resource person. I think he will be handling the first session. So when I scanned through the various schedule of the programs, I could find very interesting topics, very from very basics to a wide spectrum of topics are available, a very base fundamentals to very focused area of cyber security, defense applications, and forensic applications. Various such a wide spectrum of topics are available. And definitely I feel all the participants will be greatly benefited throughout all these sessions. I'm not sure what is the actual strength of the batch, but definitely I could find around 130, around 125 plus, which is a very good number. So I congratulate the entire CSC department for organizing this program, and I hope all the sessions will be very useful for all the participants. And I heartily welcome once again Dr. Manoj and Dr. Kranti to this program and inaugural function. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Professor Dr. Sinith MS, Head of the Department of Electronics Engineering, to deliver felicitation talk.
Okay. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is a Atal training program, ACT training program on cyber security. All of us know that cyber security is going to be very important in the future, especially when we have, say, autonomous vehicles and many devices connected together to form a cyber physical system or Internet of Things or everything is connected. Everything is going to be connected. So when we have, say, autonomous vehicles which move in the road by communicating each other and seeing the obstacles and moving uh, along, it is very important to have foolproof cybersecurity system, because when vehicles move, it is probably possible that one of the hackers may get into inside the system of a car and control it, probably. And instead of turning right, it may turn to left, and such kind of um, things may happen. So it is very important to have a secure communication in this um, upcoming world of connected um, things, say cyber physical systems or Internet of Things or whatever we call it, autonomous vehicles, or there may be many things which are connected to each other, particularly when 5G and 6G comes in the communication systems. All things are going to be get connected. We have all the protocols are being developed and it's on the way. So I feel that this is a very relevant course um, for this particular time to have cyber cyber um, strengthening, and I hope that this course, in which we have a lot of experts from all around India and from abroad, who are doing a lot of research in this area, and they shall be sharing their views and their findings and sharing with us. Probably I shall also be attending this course, and I hope that all the attendees all will be benefiting immensely from this course. And yeah, that's all. And I think all are waiting for the course to be started. Thank you all. Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Now I welcome Dr. Manoj VN, our chief guest, to inaugurate the FDP. Before that, let me just introduce sir to you. Manoj VN is the Deputy Director of Scolico Innovations, Kochi. He is an experienced academician and researcher with a long track record in cybersecurity, AI applications, and computer networks. He obtained his Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering from NIT Surathkal in 2002. He earned his Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science and Engineering from Chaminade University of Honolulu, USA in 2007, specializing in the area of network security. He worked as professor and head of section in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Defense University, Debrecen, Ethiopia. Dr. Manoj VN possesses extensive technical and teaching expertise in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, with proficiency in the areas such as ethical hacking, penetration testing, digital forensics, IDS IPS, SIEM, and secure system architectures. His AI and ML experiences include deep learning model development with the applications in intrusion detection, malware classification, and computer vision. Dr. Manoj has guided numerous research and development projects in IoT analytics, botnet detection, blockchain security, and ransomware responses. He has published several papers in reputed journals and conferences, supervised over 50 research projects, including 14 doctoral theses, and examined more than 30 doctoral dissertations internationally. As a founding as a founding technical member and advisor to the Ethiopian Artificial Intelligence Institute, he has significantly contributed to the national AI and cybersecurity initiatives. In total, he has over 28 years of teaching, research, and academic leadership experience. I warmly welcome Sir for the inauguration.
Thank you, madam, for a nice introduction. So good evening, everyone. Respected Principal Dr. Pradeep, respected Dr. Shibli, Head of the CSC Department, Coordinator of the program, distinguished resource persons, esteemed faculty members, and dear participants from across the nation. It gives me immense pleasure to join you all virtually today to inaugurate the 6-day faculty development program titled Cybersecurity Bootcamp, Safeguarding Systems and Networks. As we all know, software is developed to solve human problems, to make our life easy, faster, and more connected. But as we have witnessed, every line of code written to solve a problem often introduces new flaws, software imperfections that can disrupt the system they run on, even impact the people who depend on them, and ultimately contribute to the growing and insurmountable challenge of so-called cybersecurity. As our devices are getting smarter, powered by AI, so do the attackers, how they exploit it. And as our networks are becoming faster, connected, AI-driven attacks spread through them with, we can say very high speed and sophistication. And as we keep building walls of security, we try to strengthen the intelligent defenses and maybe using agentic AI and so on. Somewhere, someone is already deploying their own autonomous agents to find a way through them. So in this digital age, cybersecurity is no longer a luxury, as it was the case, until recent past. It's not a specialized field anymore. It is actually a shared responsibility. Every teacher, student, professional, and citizen is now a digital stakeholder, and therefore we can say potential target. And it is said that the weakest link in the cybersecurity is not technology. It is actually the people. So this is precisely why programs like this faculty development program are vital, because empowering educators means empowering the next generation. And I must commend Wayanad Engineering College for taking this national level initiative to train faculty members in the critical area of cybersecurity. As it has been already told, it is located in a very beautiful green hills of Wayanad. I myself is from Wayanad. And this institution has repeatedly proven that its impact extends far beyond its location. And through this FDP program, Wayanad Engineering College not only strengthening the cybersecurity capabilities of education, but also sowing the seeds of what we can say a safer digital India. It is very encouraging to see such a forward-looking initiative, bringing together all these experts, academicians, practitioners across the country, and we can say all united. We all will be having one single goal. Our main goal is, of course, to safeguard our system, our networks, ultimately our future. So this 6-day boot camp is not just another training program. It's a journey from awareness to action, from learning to leadership, etc. And over these 6 days, participants will be diving into the depth of digital defense, learn about network vulnerabilities, data protection, ethical hacking or pen testing, and the latest trends in cybersecurity. And as faculty members, each one of us here holds a unique power, the power to shape how our future engineers, scientists, and innovators perceive the digital world. And let us remember that the battle for cybersecurity is not fought once, and it is actually fought on a continuous basis, on every single day, in every line of code, and in every login attempt that we make, and I can say on every click we make. So the future belongs to those who not only innovate, but also protect innovation. And through this FDP, Wayanad Engineering College and its participants are taking a bold step towards shaping the future. With that thought, it is indeed my honor and privilege to formally inaugurate this 6-day faculty development program, Cybersecurity Bootcamp, Safeguarding Systems and Network. I declare this program open and extended my heartfelt wishes for its grand success. And may the coming days be filled with learning, collaboration, inspiration, and let this bootcamp ignites a passion for cybersecurity that echoes in every classroom, in every campus, and every system we safeguard. Thank you, Anadol. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now let us conclude this inaugural session with a thank you note. Good evening all. Good evening again. I would like to express my sincere thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Manoj VN, for his inspiring inaugural address. Thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion. We are deeply thankful to our principal, Dr. Pradeep sir, for delivering the presidential address, and we are also thankful to sir for his constant support, guidance, constant support and guidance. Thank you, sir. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Sinich sir, Head of the Department ECE, for his presence and valuable words of encouragement. I also express my appreciation to Dr. Shibli Joseph, Head of the Department, for her efforts in planning and organizing this program. Thank you, ma'am. Finally, I thank all the participants. We have participants across from all the states, almost all the states of India, from Uttar Pradesh to Tamil Nadu and from Gujarat to Odisha. We have participants from throughout the country. So we thank you all. Without your presence, this program will not happen. So your enthusiasm and presence assure the success of this FDP. Also, I take this opportunity to thank the AICT and adults team for giving Government Engineering College Wayanad an opportunity to conduct an adult course. Also a big thank to all the faculty and staff of Computer Science and Engineering Department whose efforts ensured the smooth execution of this program. Thank you once again to everyone. We look forward to a week of enriching learning. Thank you. Let us now move to the next session, first session.
Dear participants, there's a slight change in the schedule, and today we have two sessions from 6:30 to 8 and 8 to 9:30, and it was actually planned that first session was done by Dr. Kranti Kumar, then followed by Manoj VN. Today, now we swapped the sessions, and first we will start with Dr. Manoj VN, then followed by Dr. Kranti Kumar. And after each session, kindly give us the feedback also. Thank you all. Hope all the participants are ready. Thank you.
Sir, can we start the presentation? Manoj,
Yeah,
sir?
possible actually.
Okay, sir.
Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, any need to stop this session? No.
No problem for me, actually.
Okay, sir. Participants, if you feeling any difficulty, kindly message us.
So time is sharp 6:30. In fact, my slot was the second slot, and I have been promoted to the very first session of the program, faculty development program, immediately after the inauguration session. And the topic which is given to me, I think you can see it very well on the screen, security controls and cybersecurity. I think all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So security controls and cybersecurity. So in this topic, I'll be definitely going through the basics of cybersecurity. And then we talk about all modern cybersecurity controls that we have, the controls that were practiced for a very long time, and what are the current controls that we have to deter, if possible, prevent cybersecurity attacks. So let me start my presentation by going through a very famous quote. The art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of enemies not coming, but on our readiness to receive him, not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unassailable. And this is actually a very famous quote from Sun Tzu's Art of War. And this means a lot when it comes to cybersecurity domain. You know, we have to make our position unattackable, maybe by having multiple layers of security, having defense in depth. Is that possible to protect our system? If it is really possible so easily, then we would not be sitting like this to discuss a lot about cybersecurity, because it's not so easy. Because day by day, there are new attacks coming in. Artificial intelligence, they're everywhere. Agentic AI, which can automatically generate attacks. So things are changing almost on a daily basis. So whatever security we had and everything in our systems doesn't mean that we are secure tomorrow, because there are new attacks coming in. There are so many automated attacks are coming in. And as we know that IoT devices are flooding everywhere, and these IoT devices are carrying a very serious potential attacks like distributed denial of service attacks and so on. So in this session, I'll be just starting with the introductory aspect of cybersecurity. Then we get into some security protocols and how security controls on various protocols, malware types, then emerging threats and ethical hacking, threat modeling, AI controls in cybersecurity, and also we'll move on to quantum computing. And because even the quantum computers are not yet ready, as it is available only for special purposes, but still it's a major challenge, so we have to seriously think about that. And some of our algorithms, so far we were talking about very safe algorithm, very safe cryptographic algorithm may not be secure anymore after having these quantum computers once everywhere. And also there is something called as quantum inspired machine learning, how we can actually take use of will be also be discussed. And then when it comes to security control, definitely we have to talk about compliance, we have to talk about the standards. So definitely we'll be looking into the NIST framework a little and what are their suggestions and comments. And then I will also come across the modern security controls and cloud native security control, because cloud is something which is proliferating everywhere, because that all our systems, all our applications are moving to cloud, to data centers. So what are the security mechanism we have? Then also when it comes to application security, we all know about DevOps. So now we have the security operations incorporated. So dev security ops will be, then I will conclude. That is the session, the whole session is all about. So that the enemies are the gates. We all know that the cybercrime damages is going to reach about trillions, maybe around 24 trillion by 2027. And as it has been seen, a ransomware attack which is happening in every 11 seconds. And here you can see there is a live threat map which is taken from Radware, so that you can see that attacks are there everywhere. In every seconds attacks are happening. And unfortunately 95% of all these cyber attacks are because of human error. And who are behind it? It can be state actors, supported by state. It can be criminal organization, hacktivists, and so on. So attacks are definitely there. And let us recall some cyber attacks. I think all of you must be knowing about the first cyber bomb, that is so-called Stuxnet. It was actually a worm which actually has spread through so many connected devices and finally reached Iran's uranium enrichment program. It was actually a totally disconnected network, but somehow whenever they went for a maintenance, this worm has finally reached their PLCs. The PLCs are the one which control the the centrifuges to enrich the uranium. Finally, they could actually spoil 1,000 plus nuclear centrifuges, and that was known to be the very first what you call as a cyber bomb. First cyber bomb, and there were many such incidents. And another thing, about as I already have mentioned about the ransomware, and WannaCry was such a notorious ransomware. It affected 300,000 plus computers, 150 plus countries, and see attacks are there. And when we see our Indian domain, India also came under cyber siege. Many attacks. There was a UPI fraud explosion. There was attack on AIMS Delhi with a ransomware, and there were attacks on Indian Railway, on IRCTC attacks. There was a Mobiquik data leakage, and and many of them. Recently, every day almost it's happening. Recently, I think 2 days back there was a air traffic control system that has been affected in Delhi airport. Flights were not operated for so many hours, and the reasons are investigating. What is coming up is there was some sort of a kind of a GPS spoofing attack, because air traffic controls definitely require GPS position of flights so that they will be able to effectively control and manage the landing and takeoffs. So day by day things are changing. Recently in Amazon Web services were not available for about 10-15 hours, and if you seriously analyze all these different attacks, there is some sort of cyber attack which is happening either by human being or these days automated attacks definitely is happening. So No, since we are starting the session, let us say cybersecurity. What exactly is cybersecurity? It's a broad term wherein it is a practice of protecting our digital system, our network, our devices, our programs, our data from digital attacks. We call it as cyber. Cyber is the word now. It replaced all computing. Everywhere we are using now cyber. Earlier, I remember some 15 years before when we were starting MTech in network and information security in Ethiopian Defense University. Then later it was demanded from the Ministry of Defense that network security has to be totally removed and we have to rename it as cyber security. So we have done that because cyber security now comprises network security, cloud security, and application security, endpoint security, mobile security, and so on. Right? We all know about it. And when it comes to cybersecurity, there are a few things, because we all always worrying about what are the risks that we have on by having a cyber attack. So there are two parameters. One is threat and vulnerability. Vulnerability is the real reason for all these attacks, right? If, for example, it says that risk is actually a product of threat and vulnerability. If you have zero vulnerability, then even if there is a hacker, threat means that it can be a malicious code, it can be a, an attacker who can get into your system, but they can't do anything unless otherwise you have vulnerabilities. If there are vulnerabilities, then you may be asking, is that possible to have a system which is 100% vulnerability free? Absolutely not possible, because every system, as you know, that starting with your operating system, which is having millions of line of code, developed by thousands of people, and it is not at all, even 5% of those codes are not tested because of the time and economical constraints. So it's highly impossible to test all of them. So that means there are definitely vulnerabilities hidden, and you know about zero-day vulnerability because the moment the attackers comes to know that there is a vulnerability, and before it is being patched, they make use of it and generate attacks. And these days, we always form different teams. Earlier days we used to talk about we told red hat hackers, white hat hackers, gray hat hackers. These were all the terminologies. But nowadays there is a terminology like there is a red teaming, blue teaming, and purple teaming. So as it has been shown over here, red teaming means mostly offensive activities. As we are all like ethical hackers, we perform so many ethical hacking activities, starting with some pen testing and so on. So we belong to the red teaming category. Blue teaming means we have to basically try to defend our system as much as possible, if possible, prevent and and try to as much as possible protect our system from such attack. Okay, so it basically they involve in everyday security operations, monitor networks, and so on. And there is an intermediate team called as purple team, and they have to analyze the vulnerabilities. Vulnerability data may be collected from red team or blue team, and they have to provide all those recommendation, improvements, etc. And they prepare documents. So these are the three teams. They are categorized in the field of cybersecurity. And definitely, when we talk about cybersecurity, we can't ignore this three triads. We have three triads. One is CAA. About that, other speakers are also going to talk a lot. So let me briefly talk about it, because that when we say cybersecurity, if you remember the early books, we used to have cybersecurity essential book which is written by William Stallings. When we start opening the very first pages, he has written about confidentiality, integrity, availability, and he has explained. So that's the way we have started and entered into the field of computer security or cyber security. Confidentiality, we have to keep things secret, and we use algorithms, cryptographic algorithm. We use protocols which using those algorithms like IPsec, SSL, TLS. These all protocol which all of them basically uses cryptographic algorithm for confidentiality. Keep the thing secret. No unauthorized, any unauthorized access will not be allowed. And then integrity, as you know, that things should be accurate, consistent, because data is the most important. Data is the new gold, because the data, that it is available in three forms. The first one, definitely, that it is the data in storage, another data in motion, and data which is in use, so all these data need to be protected. So integrity definitely matters. Another one is availability. You make sure that all the genuine services are available whenever the users are in need of it. Things are available. So we have to minimize downtime, etc. There are attacks, for example, denial of service or distributed denial of service are all attacks on availability. And the next one is the other triad, which is nothing but authentication, authorization, and accounting. Authentication always, as you know, that we have to verify, if possible, identity of everyone. The anonymity is the actual real reason for all these cybersecurity chaos. Because if we can actually authenticate everyone really, if all 100% of peoples and system and packets can be authenticated, there is no question of cybersecurity. There is no question of cyber attacks. But unfortunately, that is not the case. The people are coming with spoofed IP addresses, spoofed domain names, and so on. So authentication is a real challenging job. So we have, we try to authenticate. Earlier days we used to use password. Even now also we use passwords. That is, even pass keys and other thing. Now we in cybersecurity side we used to say that authentication based on what you have, what you know, which is password, then what you have, which is like your smart card, even your mobile phone, then what you what you are, that is biometrics like your fingerprint, facial recognition, iris pattern recognition, etc., etc. The next one is authorization. After authentication, what privilege he has, because the data should be protected according to the privilege level. We have to have proper access control. That is also very important. And the third one is accounting. As you know very well, that we have to actually keep track of all the activities which is happening, because it's very important that to identify, especially when it comes to digital forensic. It's very essential that to know, is there is a potential for attacks. In forensic, many times forensic activity we do after having the attack. But even before that, even an attack is about to start, like if you have an intrusion detection system, then it can actually keep analyze the logs, system logs, security log, operating system logs. You analyze it. So this maintenance of this log is very important, and that is nothing but accounting. So that is the next AAA. And the third one is DIE or DIE framework. As I mentioned earlier, we are using distributed system extensively. We are using cloud extensively. All our our applications, because we have SaaS, infrastructure as a platform, as a PaaS, and so on. So we are extensively using nowadays cloud. So based on that, there are three parameters. One is distributed, another one is immutable, another one is ephemeral. Distributed means, as you know, that in earlier days we used to host our websites in a single server, or we used to have single file servers and so on. And then the problem, as we all know, as academician, we always used to say there's a possibility of single point failure. Then services may not be available, but that is not the case. There are so many cloud service providers, namely Amazon Web Service, AWS, Microsoft Azure, then Google cloud platform, GCP, and so on. So if when we talk about scalability, availability, performance, etc., better make it distributed. So distributed has to be the characteristics of having when you say availability. So you will not be having any problem with the DDoS attack. If one of the server is attacked, no need to worry, other server will take care of it. Another one is immutability. Immutable means something which you are not supposed to modify. Once, because until recent past, whenever you have an operating system or a device driver or a system file, when it is having problem, the concerned authority will be providing you a patch, or the developers will be providing you a patch, and you try to patch it. But that is no more the case. Patching always, you must have studied definitely in software engineering that as you keep maintaining your software, there will be more problem that will building up. So finally, it may lead into a total catastrophic failure. So all these are even patch management is a very difficult job. So why don't we have whenever you need to have a problem, replace it completely. So the immutability is nothing but you don't allow any change. If at all, if you want to change, remove it and have a fresh version. And nowadays we have in the field of Dockers, we have containers, we have the container orchestration can be done through Kubernetes, wherein moving one microservice to another. Things are quite easy these days, and better go for some immutability. That is the the second one. And third one is ephemeral. And I think if you know about cryptographic algorithm, definitely you must have heard about ephemeral cryptographic algorithm. So one of the problem in cryptography is nothing but brute forcing. Whenever a key is there, if you give sufficient time, attacker can actually brute force that key. And so the problem is, the longer is the lifetime of something, a parameter like a key, like a private key, it is possible that the attacker can get it. So what we do, we don't give anything, we make it ephemeral. That means it's valid only for a very short period of time, like a session key, like a session key. It's valid for a very short period of time. And so then we can say that, by the time anyone has a problem, you change it. So, we can say provisioning, deprovisioning will be done in an automated way. So that way, this die now can be related with our, CIA triad, because as I told you, distributed is very close to availability. Because DDoS resistance is the one which we can, as we can see over here, we have DDoS resistance has been mentioned over here, corresponding to distributed. Then immutable is nothing but, since you are not allowed to make any change, there is no problem with integrity. Ephemeral definitely will guarantee confidentiality, because we drives value as it close to zero. So actually we don't allow any repeated usage of something, and because we keep changing. Right. And now cybersecurity, we have different type of threats. We have insider threats because of malware. Malware can penetrate your system. And these days, so many social engineering attacks like phishing, different types of phishing attacks possible. System design failure is one of the other reason why we are having all these cybersecurity issues. So in a cybersecurity framework, we have to have certain few important activities that need to be conducted. As much as possible, we try to identify, we have to find out, what are the risks we have. Let us conduct some pen testing and try to understand what are the vulnerabilities that we have in your system. Okay, so that is one set of activity that we need to do. Then we have to take control of it. Like, we have to, as much as possible, protect our system, maybe by using access control, awareness and training, data security, information protection, etc. Another area, another activity that we do is detection. We know that intrusion detection system is there. Different types of intrusion detection systems are there. We have anomaly based intrusion detection system, wherein anomaly is nothing but something which is not normal. Something deviating from normal behavior is an anomaly. So we keep on, because in order to know what is an anomaly, we have to know what is normal system. So we here this is another place where we use machine learning. Even deep learning system, like we can have artificial neural network based models to classify normal behavior and abnormal behavior, and we try to detect. And definitely sometimes there may be false positive, but you keep refining. The more data with which we train your model, definitely we will succeed almost close to 100% to detect known attack, like for example OWASP known attacks and so on. Then another thing is, we respond. Like once the attack has happened, definitely we have to respond. Yes, if possible, to mitigate. How we can actually mitigate that impact. So that can be some sort of respond. Then if possible, some sort of recovery. Even in distributed system, we used to say forward error recovery, backward error recovery. Forward error recovery is so difficult. Backward error recovery, if at all, if we have backups, we can actually get through it. So now let us get to what is security controls. We have countermeasures to avoid, detect, counter risk as per IBM definitions. Security controls are classified like this. One is preventive. What are the preventive controls we have? How we can stop threats. And the second one is detective, identify, as even we have seen in the previous slide. Then third one is corrective or remediate. Okay, that means, is that possible to, do some correction so that we can still move on. And the fourth one is deterrent, discourage the attack. Is that possible to have a honeypot, make the attack to be, deflected to another location so that our system is safe. Other one is compensating or alternative mitigation techniques. So these are all the basic security controls. And nowadays, we have advanced cybersecurity solutions, which is coming up, because we give more priority to the data. So we have to make sure that there is no data loss. So data loss prevention is very important. So here we use DLP tools to monitor and control the flow of sensitive data across the network. Basically that will safeguard the customers, and data, their protected information, detecting and preventing any unauthorized access. Okay, so that is one thing. Then we have EDR, which is nothing but endpoint detection. We have XDR, which is nothing but extended detection and response. They are all basically to monitor devices for any sort of malicious attacks and try to mitigate the risk especially for endpoint systems, endpoint system, edge system in your network. And the next one is firewall. As you know, the firewalls are the known the security device in your network. We used to have packet filtering firewall to different classes of firewalls. We have personal firewalls, but here we are talking about the next generation firewalls. But normally firewalls will be filtering packets in terms of the packet parameter, even with some payload, etc. But when it comes to the next generation firewalls, we go for deeper packet inspection. Is that possible? Let us keep the packet in the memory, dissect the entire data structure of the packet, take out the payload, and try to understand what type of packet payload it carries. So we can have what is called as a deep packet inspection system that we can have through this next generation firewall. It can dynamically adjust because it can learn from the past experience, so artificial intelligence can be incorporated there. Then we have secure access service edge. This actually, it's a combination of network security and WAN capability, which is added to, we can say, into a single cloud service, we can say cloud-based service. And similarly, definitely you must have heard about SIEM. We have so many SIEM tools, like Splunk is a SIEM tool. So basically, the security information and event management is basically performing data analysis. And as it has been mentioned about accounting, I talked about accounting. Then there I was mentioning about the logs. So if we get as much of data with you, let the SIEM tool analyze it. We have so many wonderful SIEM tools available. Some of them are proprietary. Even there is a Wasuf, an open source tool available. We can analyze this log. Then we can actually very quickly identify any type of incidents. And we can, if you do it at the right time, we can actually proactively mitigate. Even before the attack happens, we can actually do some preventive action. And finally, the security orchestration. Done through SOAR, which is nothing but orchestration, automation, and response. So SOAR is an actually automation of security operations, so which actually uses even with the generative AI techniques, etc. We have things like. For example, there's a recent tool called as Enigma, which can even solve a CTF problem. I'm going to talk about that also. CTF is that is a place where you have to these days hackers or ethical hackers are proving their proficiency in the field of cybersecurity. There are international CTF competitions, and there are some clubs in India that are really doing wonderfully well in CTF challenges. But unfortunately, these days there are automated tools. So how far it is successful is still a question. But definitely, that is the way how the automated detection, prevention are taking place through artificial intelligence. So now when we look into this known diagram, I think all of us know about this particular diagram. We have a backbone internet, we have an edge router, and before the edge router connected to our local area network, your enterprise networks, definitely there are multiple levels of security. We can say defense in depth. We have an edge router, we have an external firewall, we have internal firewall. So what is actually we used to do in network security is we try to segment the network. We have multiple perimeters, which is defined by these all multi-layer switches, firewalls. As you know, when you have firewall, we have a very important, which is nothing but DMZ. DMZ is nothing but demilitarized zone, as you know very well, because the demilitarized zone is the place at which we keep some servers like email server, your web server, and so on, so that the people from outside can access directly. Public accessibility is definitely there, but at the same time we have some minimal control. So now when you have your SOHO, your small office, home office setup, some moving roaming candidates are there, your campus network is there. So we have so many equipments. We have maybe Cisco devices there, we have servers there, we have so many intermediate layer 3, layer 2 switches, and so on. Now, as we always used to say that there has to be defense in depth. So what are the places we need to have security? Security controls need to be in every systems, in every servers. Like there are so many different. I'm going to show about that in the coming few slides. And so defense in depth is the one which we are definitely interested in practice. And as you know that if you see the layered security framework, we have the most important, the gold is inside, that is our data. And what we have to do, we have to definitely have to encrypt it. And we have different encryption techniques and protocols available to encrypt that. And then we should strictly implement access control. Even in Cisco devices, we used to use ACLs, access control list. Then application is the one which encapsulate data, like in our object-oriented terminology. We always encapsulate our data using this application. And so every time when a data need to be accessed by anyone, so there has to be proper access management. So there's input validation, there are host IDs need to be checked, vulnerability assessment has to be done, and most importantly, we have to perform access control. And then the applications are definitely running on host, and host machine should have its own protection mechanism. There has to be antiviruses. If possible, there has to be personal firewalls. There has to be proper vulnerability assessment, access control techniques, and hosts are part of the network. So in the network, we need to have intrusion detection system, intrusion IPS has to be there, vulnerability assessment has to be there. Then these all networks need to be divided. So we have to clearly define our perimeters through edge routers and maybe through firewall, other thing, so there, we define, maybe we use protocols like VPN protocol. We may use IPsec. IPsec tunnel can be created between machines so that the packets are safe, at least in transit. Definitely once it comes out of the tunnel, once it comes out of the VPN channel, definitely, all sort of, attacks are possible. But, at least let us, quickly transfer the message in an encrypted tunnel. Right, these diagrams are very well known to you. This is our OSI layer, because when we approach the problem of cybersecurity, when we talk about controls, we have to definitely think on the point of all these layers. In TCP/IP, that grouping of layers are already there. We have an application layer, then transport layer, and the most important network layer, and so on. We know about all those protocols. The basic protocols like DNS server, HTTP, HTTPS. HTTP is really definitely vulnerable, so we never use these days. We always use only HTTPS, which is a combination of HTTP with SSL, and we use a different port number. Dedicated port number is 443 for the purpose. And when it comes to transport layer, we have the most popular UDP TCP, and the performance of your network is decided by this protocol. We have many protocols, TCP Vegas and other protocols are definitely there to make sure that your internet is working very fine. But it also comes with a lot of problems, because TCP, one of the problems with TCP is handshake. There is a three-way handshake, and this handshake can be definitely misused by attackers, because there's something called a SYN flood attack, which is created. And when we look on the point of view of OSI model, there's a presentation layer wherein we present the data in certain ways. So there's a possibility of phishing attack over there. And what about having a session attack? Is that possible to hijack a session? And we have different types of attacks, plus cross-site scripting attack, and session sidejacking, malware attack, and etc. So starting from all, if you look into all these layers, like transport layer, there are possibilities. Network layer, there are, network layer, we used to use a very popular tool called as ping. And, sometimes the modified ping, we also use traceroute. And ping is a very good protocol, but ping also misused heavily by attackers until recent past. Nowadays, of course, there are so many methods. There is a ping of death attack, which is a distributed denial of service attack. We also can have Smurf attack. It's actually a reverse ping. Spoofing the ping, source IP address. We can actually target many systems. So that way, if you go through all these layers, when it comes to physical layer, also there is a possibility of sniffing. There's a possibility of jamming. We know about jammers. We can have different type of jammers. Even as we used to say that it's possible to even to spoof GPS data, etc. Even when it comes to data link, there is a possibility of spoofing of ARP protocol, because ARP is the protocol which translate your IP address with the MAC address. There is a reverse ARP. So there are a lot of spoofing attack. There is poisoning attack. We used to say there is DNS poisoning, ARP poisoning. So there are a known list of attacks. So these all need to be. So this is actually a distributed denial of service. So I've been just mentioning about IoT devices. You know the problem of IoT devices, because these IoT devices are coming with very minimum resources. So most standard security mechanism we cannot deploy in those machines. So what is the problem then? Definitely that is an easy target of attackers. So they can convert these IoT devices as zombies, wherein the attacker will be injecting some malicious code later on, because in distributed denial of service, attacker himself will not be attacking directly onto machines. Rather, he deploy or he recruit so many IoT devices and machines. And I think you must have definitely heard about Mirai botnet, which convert an IoT device into a botnet. And there are so many. Interestingly, these days, we don't need to write even a single line of code. We don't even need to write any configuration. Everything is available automatically. There is an interesting concept called as distributed denial of service as a service, as a service, as a cloud service. It is available. Unfortunately, as you know that when we talk about our our internet, we have a surface net that is a place where we all work, but there is a deep net which is in the middle, and there is a dark net. The dark net is the place where all these malicious activities are happening. Zero-day exploits are, if you want to exploit, there are so many onion sites where you can get all this information which is shared. And also combining a digital currency, many people exploit these vulnerabilities and generate so many different types of attacks on a day-to-day basis. All right. Let me quickly go through these malwares. About viruses. Viruses are, the malicious code which is infecting an already existing file. A very popular one is the I love you virus. Worms are kind of a standalone program, and as I told you, the most popular or notorious ransomware like WannaCry is a worm actually. Then rootkit, and rootkit, as you know, it can hide deep in the operating system because we use the term root terminology. And trojans, trojan is disguising himself as a legitimate software like autorun.inf. If you remember in Windows, most of the time when we see double click a folder or directory, your autorun.inf will actually activate these trojans. So there are different type of trojan like backdoor, banking trojan, downloader trojan, spyware trojan. Even there are ransom trojans which actually encrypt your data, and demand ransom. Similar to so a ransom trojan is very similar to a ransomware. So these are all the top malwares. You see, we have I love you, Melissa, Stone, the Nimda. These are all virus category. There under worms category there is a Morris worm, Configure, etc. Stuxnet, I already previously mentioned in one of these slides about what is Stuxnet and WannaCry. They're all kind of worms, and we have these are all actually the list of all trojans. Even there are there are rats. There are ransomwares like CryptoLocker. I'm not reading all of them because I know all of you are very familiar with that. And when it comes to the last section, we have a spyware. Like definitely you must have heard about Pegasus. Many people complain that it is a activity of some countries targeting some other countries mobile phone, and this spyware will be hiding deeply in your system, including your mobile phone, and it can manipulate and operate your camera, microphone, record every activity. It performs a total reconnaissance of we can say total surveillance, and which is it's very dangerous one. Similarly, there is a surveillance malware called as Finfisher, etc. And these are all examples for rootkits. I've already talked about rootkits, and also there is a bootkit actually. If this malicious code infecting your MBR, early days we used to have a very serious problem when your MBR is affected. But these days, a lot of security mechanisms are available to protect MBR, your UEFI, etc. And Mirai, as you know, it is an DDoS attack generation using IoT devices, and there are even fileless malware. Normally an anti virus system or an anti malware system will be analyzing your secondary storage for malicious files, but it is possible that it can hide right in the memory, because some other programs can generate these scripts and can be available, maybe a PowerShell or WMI script, and it can actually generate an attack. And you also definitely must be knowing about keyloggers, and there are software keyloggers and hardware keyloggers available. So keyloggers are very dangerous. It can actually take away everything that has been typed on your keyboard. That is very seriously dangerous. And normally this is bundled with trojans and spyware, get into your system and get through your keyboard device drivers and access the those drivers to get easily all the keys that has been pressed, etc. And plenty of information in stealers. It can take away your browser credentials, your cookies, your crypto wallet information, all can be taken away. Now, what are the type of controls that we can have on malware? So what we are planning to have with the control is definitely we try to prevent, detect, respond to malicious software threats. So what are the things that we can have? What are the key controls? We can have endpoint protection. We can say EPP, which is endpoint protection platforms. wherein we can have antiviruses, malware, and endpoint detection and response system. It's a common myth that by having an antivirus and anti-malware, your system is protected. No, not at all. It is only can protect against certain non we can say viruses or spywares. Okay, so the thing is that every day this anti-malware system will be updating its signature, and these days signature based virus detection also is not easy to work, because there are polymorphic viruses. It can actually change its signatures quite often. So it's not possible for antivirus to actually very easily detect it. So what they do these days is to have a virtual machine of its own, and as you know that virtual machines are commonly used everywhere these days in operating systems. So have a virtual machine for the antiviruses or anti-malware, and let it execute and see the behavior of that particular program before it is allowed to perform any critical activity in your computer system. So endpoint protection platform is one sort of control, and then network security control. We can have various type of firewalls. We can have a personal firewalls. We can have things like when it comes to Linux system, we have IP tables, and we can have VPNs. As much as possible, connect whenever you have data to be exchanged. Let it go through an encrypted channel. Then email security. Definitely through email we get attachment, especially phishing attacks and so on. So let us have spam filters. Attachments can phishing detection. To classify whether maybe some that we done different types of phishing attacks using constructing your own artificial intelligence models to classify it very correctly. And then we can have application whitelisting. Only allow approved software. The Mac operating systems are very highly secure, primarily because they have application whitelisting. They don't allow any third-party application to be installed in their system. That is one of the reasons why the Mac systems are known to be much more safer than other operating systems. And similarly, the regular patch management has to be done. Threat intelligent integration. Okay, so we have to keep feeding real-time threat information. Update your defense on a continuous basis, like you're including your your malware signatures, and conduct automated malware analysis. Can have all AI-powered sandboxes and conduct what is called as behavior analysis of the program. Let it run in a virtual machine or a sandbox and look for any suspicious behavior. And anything suspicious is noticed. You mark it as a suspicious file and keep it aside. And similarly, we can have incident response plans. So define process quickly to isolate any infected system, remove malware, and conduct all recovery operations. And definitely, another control is definitely backup and recovery. Backup is very much essential. As you know that in distributed system, there's an automated backup facilities available, so recovery become quite easier. And these days, there are a lot many classes of cyber attack vectors. Only in social engineering, as when you look into ethical hacking or the hacking activity, the hackers perform a lot of social engineering attacks. Social engineering attacks are normally done to collect certain credentials from you, maybe to infer the username, password, maybe to get somebody, even many other secret parameters they get through by performing phishing, and more targeted attack like spear phishing, like individual targeted. There is a whale phishing. It is actually targeting high profile executives to target a like for monetary benefits. There is voice-based phishing called as wishing, SMS-based. There is a category of them. The another one is that the OWASP top 10 attacks. If you see, the OWASP list of attacks, we definitely know about different types of SQL injection attack, SQL injection attacks, exploiting the vulnerabilities in our SQL system. So these days many of the our cybersecurity solutions need to definitely look into all type of SQL injection attacks, and definitely that can be prevented. That is a control that we can have. Then cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery. These are all attacks on web applications. How we can protect them. Then man-in-the-middle attack. As you know that even though we have very strong protocols and mechanism, a man in the middle will be acting like a third party, and many times man in the middle can actually create problem. So earlier days we used to think that if we have very strong cryptographic algorithms and very strong protocol, we are safe. Unfortunately, that is not the case. If you don't properly manage your algorithms, how they are totally being configured, there are a lot of different man-in-the-middle attack. MITM itself is a class of attacks, man-in-the-middle attacks. Even in a wireless network, like for example, if you're using a WPA2 network, it's quite easy that a man in the middle come into your network, and he can de-authenticate anyone in the network. So, for example, I want to disconnect a particular server from in a Wi-Fi network. It is very easy if it is WPA to a network. Recently, I saw a wonderful tool available. Simply using some tool, click and click, I can de-authenticate anyone from the WPA to wireless network. So that way, it is a kind of a denial of service attack. It's possible. So things are very complex, and many attacks are not happening because they are not targeting you, but otherwise vulnerabilities are plenty everywhere, and how we can actually handle and control is a very difficult challenge. And that is why cybersecurity is growing as a domain, and many are qualifying to become a cybersecurity experts. And similarly, there are physical attacks, like theft and other things. You don't have to worry too much about that. Then there are, what are the emerging threats? What is the real future battlefield? Definitely, when you talk about the future battlefield, AI is the first thing, because AI powered with the deep fakes. Recently also in today's Times of India also there was a news that Nirmala Sitaraman's voice has been imitated, like they created a real 100% similar voice clip, a video clip saying that you invest in a particular share or invest in this thing, and a person has lost about 40 lakh in today's newspaper. So deepfake create a lot of fun, about digital arrest and everything. This digital arrest and everything looks more real by having these deepfakes. So there are AI enhanced phishing, automated vulnerability discovery, adversarial AI, etc. Similarly, IoT botnet, smart city vulnerability, even industrial control system attack on, already you know about, Stuxnet, which is actually an attack on industrial control system like PLCs. Even SCADA system can be attacked. And there are vulnerabilities in all this, because operating system, they always look for a vulnerability, a loophole, maybe a buffer overflow, etc. So something which has ignored, because in earlier days security is always an afterthought. So it's actually a kind of a non-functional requirement. But nowadays, when it comes to dev security operations, security is coming ahead of that. It is coming even when it comes to requirement analysis onwards. We start. Definitely, security need to be incorporated, right? Even in the case of even when you perform design of your software. Similarly, there are mobile malware, etc. I'm not reading all of them. So when we talk about cybersecurity controls, we have to definitely think about a cyber kill chain methodology, which is actually a component of intelligent driven defense for identification and prevention of any malicious intrusion activities. It helps in understanding TTP. TTP is a common terminology that uses tactics, techniques, and procedures. TTP. So what are those things? There are about 7 different activities that we do. First one is reconnaissance. We try to harvest all email addresses, all the information that you try to collect. Then second one is weaponization. We are exploiting with all the backdoors that we already understand, maybe a open port. Then the delivering the weaponized bundle to the victim. These days, you can use, there are so many automated tools, including our Metasploit. We can actually weaponize, create a bundle. Maybe you can deliver it through email or USB and things like that. And then try to exploit a vulnerability, execute a code on the victim's machine. Because if there is a vulnerability, we can by using this malicious code, we can actually exploit that. Then installation is the next activity. Installing the malware on the asset is very important. Then once it has been installed, preferably if it is getting an installation as a privileged one, like a root, a privileged one, command and control is quite easy because you can always create a backdoor without any problem. So command and control is possible. And then actions on objectives. We can have a hands-on keyboard access. Then all original. So we actually talk about an ethical hacker. we can see, go through all these activities up to what extent we can go. And that way, we can actually find out what are the real vulnerabilities you have in your systems, in your network components, and so on, in our servers, and so on. So red teaming is nothing but ethical hacking, wherein we plan, then you perform reconnaissance, then go across scanning, then exploitation and reporting. So planning. So as you can see over here, you obtain proper authorization, define testing boundaries, identify which target system. Maybe during reconnaissance, what I do first one is I'll be using Nmap tool and try to find out what are the IP addresses which are available. Nmap. And even I can use traceroute, which is actually an ICMP based tool. It can actually find out what are the machines which are currently on available in a target network. You can actually find its IP address. Nmap is a wonderful tool to do all those jobs. You can actually, we can even use some netcat to test all these things. We can use those tools to really find the target network. Actually, then we go through all this OSINT gathering. You try to collect as much information, open source intelligence. You can collect from various sources, maybe from social media platforms. Then you go for all domain enumeration, what all servers they are running, what operating system they are running, which application they are running. And so that is nothing but scanning and enumeration, wherein we look for all open port. We will be very happy. I mean, the ethical hacker or the hackers are very happy if there is a port 80 is available. Port 80 is totally open. You can get through that and get into the server and do all malicious activities. So there are so many list of vulnerabilities, and it'll be very easy if you get a zero-day vulnerability. There are so many service providers working in darknet where they provide this zero-day exploit possibilities. So we perform all these initial detections. Operating system, version detection, which operating system it is running. We'll be very happy to find a Windows 7 or older Windows machine running which is not patched. So that is the case. Then next is gaining access. Try to exploit the identified vulnerabilities and to gain unauthorized access. So you exploit the development. You can have different type of attacks like password attack, social engineering attack, web application attacks like cross-site scripting, CSRF, cross-site request forgery. If possible, generate some SQL injection attack. Is that possible? Whether the system is able to block it. Then once you are able to get into the system, the next one is maintaining the access. Open all possible backdoors, because once the thief get into a very strong room, the first thing what he does is he may open, he will find the way how he can actually take away the things. So he definitely have, look for an easy exit and also entry for other, similar type of malicious code into the system. So then finally, analysis and reporting. So these are all the set of activities an ethical hacker will be performing. And we have many cyber security tools. I know all of you know about Kali Linux, and these days people are more going towards Parrot because Parrot has even more number of tools, especially when it comes to cyber forensic. And even though they are all Debian based, Parrot seems like it is having little more better performing when it comes to packet analysis and so on. So there are plenty of tools. You don't have to even install them because it's readily available part of the operating system. For example, I have in this slide, I'm just showing about the tools that we usually use to check the security of the target. We can have Metasploit framework wherein we can actually simulate an attack. You can actually then we can see whether the target is vulnerable for such type of attack. Then we have Burp Suite. There is an OWASP SAP. It is actually a web security scanner. OWASP already you know that. And then there is an SQL map, SQL injection automation. And for network scanning and discovery, I already have mentioned about Nmap. Then the mass scan, which is actually a faster internet-wide port scanner. There are, we can use TCP dump, Wireshark, etc. And we are going to see some live packet capturing analysis in one of the classes, maybe on Saturday. And then there is vulnerability assessment and management tools available. Then password cracking tool, forensic. Password cracking tool we have to really use to make sure that whether our entities are using the right password mechanism. Are they all crackable? Then cyber forensics. We have autopsy, volatility, IDA Pro. They are all very interesting tools. There is then there are malware analysis tools where we do some reverse engineering, because we get the executable file of a infected file. We have to reverse engineer to look for certain signatures. Then SIEM, definitely I've already talked about Splunk also for log analysis, and we have a SIEM free edition available. There is, of course, it's a paid service, but there is a free edition available with some restrictions, of course. And there is ELK Stack. Vasu is a free open source SIEM tool. We can definitely use it. And there is an IBM Q radar. It's again a proprietary one. There are that also can be used. Then for threat intelligence, and we can actually use MIS platform, malware information sharing platform, and there are intrusion detection system like Suricata, Snort, the very popular open source signature-based intrusion detection system. There is also Seek, and we can, for wireless cracking, password cracking, all those activity. We are not going to do any red teaming activity here. Rather, and in a sense, we don't do anything maliciously here. Our purpose is to use these tools to identify the vulnerabilities in the in the systems, and we prepare a report and how we can protect it, by using various protection mechanism, etc. Okay. So then similarly, when it comes to cloud or container security, there are many things. So ethical hacking has to be carried out, and that is the best way to begin with, so that you prevent the hackers from gaining access to the organization's information system. You uncover all vulnerabilities, and you basically analyze and strengthen our organization security posture, including are we following the right policy? Do we use firewalls? Do we use IPsec? Even we use IPsec, are we using the right type of algorithm with that? And then it will also provide preventive measures to avoid any security breaches. So it's a good control by conducting ethical hacking, and it help safeguard the customer data. It enhance security awareness at all levels. So here you can also look for what an intruder can see in your target system. Whether they can see the IP addresses, definitely possible. But in that case, we suggest that our enterprise network only should use private IP addresses, so that we have to use non-routable. Let us use some NATs in the middle. So private IP addresses can be used at the private network. And what can an intruder to do with the information? How he can gain access and how he can maintain access, with our systems, and so on. So then of course, how much time, effort they are all required to provide and to obtain an adequate protection, and whether this information security measures that we are taking is having in compliance with our legal industry standards. So the NIST will help you a lot in that category. The next one is threat modeling, wherein we try to identify various security objects. It's very important that we cannot actually protect everything. So we should have clear objective, like for example, what data should be protected, what are the complaints that we need to carry out, and what specific quality of service requirement that we need to do, and what are the intangible assets that to protect, etc. So here we have to have all these things. In threat modeling, you identify the objectives, application overview, you decompose the application, identify all the threats, identify the threats which are relevant to the control scenario, as in the case of application overview, etc. Then identify all the vulnerabilities. Okay, so what we do, in all our activities, we have to find the deployment topology, the logical layers, key component, even key services, etc., and look for all the ports which are running, which protocol they're running, etc. Similarly, we will be looking for the people with what all roles, what all action they are actually taking, because insider attacks are very common, and most of the notorious attacks are actually triggered through insiders. So we have to definitely answer these questions, like how many higher privileged groups or users are there in your network, who can read the data, who can update the data, who can delete the data, etc. So this need to be listed out. Similarly, the administrator should have proper knowledge about operating systems which are running, its version, and its updation history, then what web server we are using, what database server software we are using, etc., etc. Has to be identified. And also there are few important key points we should the administrator should identify, like input and data validation, then authorization, authentication, which we already have mentioned, sensitivity of the data, how sensitive it is. So because one of the problem with this protection mechanism is that many protection mechanisms, like if you use cryptographic algorithm, about the problem with the cryptographic algorithm like RSA, we cannot do it in a day-to-day real-time data encryption, because it's very expensive in terms of resource usage, because it has to do some exponentiation operation. So for encryption these days, at least we should use some 1024-bit public key, and for encryption. For decryption, again 1024-bit private key, and even people are suggesting go for 2024. So that when you look into RSA algorithm, we have to do P to the power E. The P is nothing but the plain text to the power of E, which is nothing but encryption key. So we have to make a large exponentiation activity, which is a real time consuming, even though there are some algorithms available to minimize the time, but still it is very high, and that can slow down the performance of the system. So that's why we cannot encrypt everything. We cannot see. I can simply say that, okay, let us encrypt every packet which flows through the network. Let me encrypt everything using RSA and store in my hard disk. It's highly impossible, because that will make our systems extremely slow. So that finally you land up in a non-usable system. You'll be very unhappy with that. So we have to, according to the sensitivity, according to the importance, we have to. So this is actually very important. So even selection of cryptographic algorithm, etc. How we are performing auditing, and what sorts of logs we have. Do we have a version control over there as well? We have to find out. Then we also have to decompose applications, like here we have to identify the trust boundaries, then data flows, entry, exit point, egress, ingress points in the system, etc. Now let us come to what are the artificial intelligence activities that we can have. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, definitely we come straight away these days to deep learning models, machine learning models, neural network like ANN, then comes to RNN. Then there is a problem with RNN, we move on to LSTM. So that way we have generative models, large language model, etc. But when it comes to cybersecurity, it is better according to the type of application we have. For example, if you wanted to perform some threat detection, better take one single model. And most importantly, what we have to do is you have to collect the data, and there are so many sample data are available. Like if you remember, we used to use KDD cup data for a very long period of time, and nowadays we are happy to have sites like kaggle.com provide a lot of data sets, so we can actually get the data for intrusion detection system, perform all data pre-processing. We remove all outliers, or proper data pre-processing activities has to be conducted. Then extract the features, and these days we can even use the artificial intelligence tools to even go for wonderful feature extraction. Then you divide into training and testing data. Then you create our deep learning model. Sometimes we even use this convolutional neural network for the purpose. Then we construct, you train the model and keep training, testing. This activity will be keep continuously. You do it in a continuous fashion until we have minimum errors, minimum false positive. And there are, as there are so many wonderful parameters like F1 score we can actually use to talk about the quality of the model that you have. Then deploy that model, maybe part of a cybersecurity application. And whenever a new threat or new data item comes in, let it go through our artificial intelligence model, and let it give at least an alert. Even though we cannot prevent, at least let it detect. So artificial intelligence based detection and prevention, etc., are very common these days, and a lot of research work is going on in that particular field. And when it comes to agentic AI, we can have automatically actionable models can be created. So threat detection, analyze the data, and detect different type of cyber threats can be modeled by using artificial intelligence. Incident response, vulnerability management, predictive analytics. It can predict even based on the pattern of access onto certain things. There is a possibility that in future there may be a potential attack. So the predictability is something which can be carried out using predictive analytics, then endpoint protection and malware detection, fraud detection, cyber asset attack surface management like CASM, for cloud security, etc. We can actually employ artificial intelligence model. And of course, there are so many. If you see this diagram, we always start with a classifier, phishing email classifier, phishing email detection, then anomaly detection in a traffic. So we have to have anomaly detection using artificial intelligence, malware detection and classification, user behavior analysis and insider threat detection. So we can create models for the normal user behavior in an enterprise setup, and any unusual behavior can be definitely be identified. The person behind it can be marked, and it's possible that you can actually find out who is that insider. So there are a lot many wonderful controls which is coming with the help of AI into the field of cybersecurity. Similarly, user authentication and access control mechanism, automated vulnerability detection, because vulnerability detection is not a simple job, because there are thousands or even millions of vulnerabilities. So we can definitely seek the help of artificial intelligence models to make these things automated in a very easy fashion. So when we use artificial intelligence or machine learning based threat detection, as I've shown in the previous diagram, we should have proper data collection, and from for experimental model we can use data which is from you can take from known places like Kaggle.com, etc., even from GitHub and so on. But for a real thing, we have to collect data from actual logs, actual traffic, actual user behavior patterns. So that is a very serious job. And then, of course, you have to clear all the noises. We have to extract the features. Here also, we can seek the help of AI. Then, we have to, create appropriate models for identifying threats, identifying proper algorithms, then have automated, if possible, threat response. Is that possible to have an automated mitigation mechanism? Is that possible to automatically block some attacks? Then, continuous learning, because that as I've told you earlier, and nothing is safe until you keep update yourself. There should be some definite feedback, and you have to keep improving the detection process. And then there is a threat intelligence mechanism, etc. So this is actually if I am handpicking, for example, CNN, convolutional neural networks, or RNN, recurrent neural network, then you can definitely train it. How the training of neural network is being done. Then these deep learning models are all having much more better accuracy, minimum false positive. So we can actually go for it. So in the real-time threat detection, we have to have continuous monitoring. This is a state transition diagram wherein the first one start with continuous monitoring, wherein we keep analyzing the network traffic, system logs, user behavior, and you detect any deviation from the normal behavior. We call it as anomaly. So then, after having anomalies detected using your model, you identify what anomaly it is. Then you identify that threat, okay, by taking against the known threat intelligence. So you try to identify it properly, then try to automate the response. We can have firewall, we can blacklist it, we can have future prevention of such things. So you can give a feedback to response to IPS, and so on. And this is actually, this incident resolution, we will keep on repeating. Many things will be blocked, many things will be isolated. So this is actually in a continuous fashion, we'll be keep doing with help of machine learning models. And this is actually, slide which talks about different artificial intelligence models and the use cases. For example, decision trees are commonly used in phishing detection. It's a very simple artificial intelligence model. We know very well about that as compared with the neural network and everything. And the K-means clustering is another one which is used for anomaly detection in the network traffic, neural networking, and about support for SVMs for spam email detection, etc. We have a better accuracy in those algorithms. Now let us come to quantum computing. As I told you in the beginning of the presentation about the imminent problem for cybersecurity field is the quantum technique. But it is like a double-edged sword, because quantum computing, which is basically emerged from quantum mechanics. These days, in newspaper also, we're all talking about, because of recent Nobel Prize on physics is given to quantum tunneling, mechanisms, and wherein we were reading about Schrodinger's cat experiment, and etc. We used to read about, and that there are three key principles in quantum computing. One is superposition. So when it comes to quantum computing, definitely the basic element of computing is nothing but how we represent our data. Definitely we need to perform addition, basic operation, everything. So we need something like a bit, which is a binary digit or bit. But here we have qubit. The difference between bit and qubit is that in bit we have only either this or that, either 1 or 0. There is no question of an intermediate state. But in the case of quantum computing, especially with qubit, we have something called a superposition. In a sense, we can have some states between 0 and 1. You can think like, for example, when I'm tossing a coin, when the coin is flipping air, then so I can say that once the coin lands, definitely either it lands on head or tail. So that way, so that intermediate stage is something which can be utilized in quantum computing. That's why superposition is very interesting. We can actually have wonderful algorithms, and especially this can be used to create what is called as massive parallel systems. Parallel system is the way how parallel computing is the way how we actually improve the performance of our algorithms and systems. So by having quantum computers, we can achieve massive parallelism. It's just like you read, instead of reading one book, it's like you read the entire library. You read all the books simultaneously. Is that really possible practically? Yes. And that's why Albert Einstein said this is a spooky behavior. Like especially with entanglement, Albert Einstein has told that this is really a spooky behavior that will be having a definite serious application in the future. So that's why the entanglement is another interesting thing. If you keep qubits far apart in a sense, not just thousands, even millions of kilometers apart, there can be a control between them. If you flip one qubit, it can immediately flip the other one. So you can just imagine how will be our data speeds with that entanglement. So entanglement in quantum computer will be having extensive application in the field of computing. So entanglement is another thing, and also another one is quantum tunneling. Recently, the quantum tunneling is basically talking about the wave properties of particle like electrons. Normally electrons, if it want to cross a particular energy barrier, it should carry sufficient energy. Without sufficient energy, it cannot cross a barrier. But when it comes to the wave properties of a particle like electron, it can have, since because of its wave property, it can even penetrate barriers. That is, it can create a tunnel through the energy barrier. So recent Nobel Prizes for this particular successfully demonstrating and getting the application of quantum tunneling, and we can have these concepts. Primarily, superposition, entanglement can be applied in machine learning algorithm too. Okay, so there is actually machine learning algorithm involved massive parallel operations. So when it comes to, for example, neural network training is actually a very complex optimization problem. How long you train your network. But if you can do so many things parallelly, definitely machine learning can very well be optimized with the help of quantum computing systems. So there are many quantum machine learning algorithms. Recently, I heard in Karnataka, Vishweshwara Technical University, they are going to start an MTech program in quantum computing by having collaboration with certain quantum computing companies, and it's a very interesting step towards the quantum computing. And there is quantum sampling and generative AI. There are powerful quantum generative adversarial GANs, which is nothing but generative adversarial networks. So quantum powered, massively parallel thing. But there is again a serious problem, because the quantum apocalypse, or the breaking of public key cryptography. There is already a Shor's algorithm. It's a quantum algorithm. It can very easily or effectively factorize a large number. We were so happily working on, in RSA algorithm, ECC algorithm. We extensively use ECC algorithm for, encryption, for authentication, for digital signatures. By believing that there is no, DLP issues, like we cannot solve these DLP issues so easily. But this factoring of large numbers, is becoming an easy task when it comes to Shor's algorithm. So what is going to happen in future? RSA, ECC, Diffie-Hellman, all these are going to collapse. And there can be supercharged password cracking. As you know, nowadays itself, we get rainbow tables to crack passwords, and Grover's algorithm provide a quadratic speed up, exponential speed up, to search unstructured databases, passwords are stored as hash values. You can go through, we can generate all hash values corresponds to all maybe 15, 20 character passwords. For all possible passwords, we can generate corresponding hash, and then you get a huge data storage. Space complexity will be very high. By having Grover's algorithm, we can search in such unstructured database quite easily. And AI powered quantum attacks will be very dangerous, because it can find all vulnerabilities very easily. Zero-day exploit can be found by the algorithm itself. You don't have to wait for someone to announce a vulnerability in an operating system, but your quantum powered in an AI system can find it by itself. Right? Then what are the solution with quantum defense? So we can have quantum cryptography. There is quantum key distribution techniques. There is post-quantum cryptography called as PQC. There are new standards of like cryptographically relevant quantum computers going to come, and there can be quantum random number generation. Random number generation is very important. So there is instead of PRNG, which is pseudo random number or natural random number generators, we have QRNG, which is going to be much more reliable, etc. Right? Now, there is something called, so quantum computers, as you know, that it is only available in certain prototypes, is not yet ready as a general purpose computer. So for the attackers, for the ethical hackers, for the defenders, still there is a time. There is a breathing time, maybe at least 10 to 15 years it may take as of now. But AI itself is speeding up this process. So we can say at least we get a window period. And we can have the quantum inspired. Why can't we get some inspiration from quantum computing? And why don't we use some Python library? All of us know about PyTorch, TensorFlow, wherein we use these libraries for building, different type of neural networks. We use them to train neural networks, and we have various times we get these GPUs, TPUs, we are extensively using NVIDIA processors. So by having this built-in tools, why don't we go for massive parallelism? How this parallelism can be achieved? So by using, for example, TensorFlow or PyTorch, and try to manipulate the tensor networks by using our GPU or even TPU. Okay, and there is something called as a Torch Quantum, which has been already developed by MIT, and it is actually a PyTorch library for hybrid quantum classical machine learning. Okay, it is basically to facilitate quantum-inspired neural networks. The basic idea is maximum parallelism and go for efficient machine learning. The learning operation of the neural network can be more optimized, and in terms of time complexity and even other performance parameters. So one practical example is, for example, anomaly detection with a tensor network. How we can do that with the TPU or GPU. Now let me coming towards the last topics, and I have been recently working on. I just have mentioned earlier about CTF, which is actually capture the flag competition. That is basically to prove the proficiency of your knowledge in the field of cybersecurity. Many organizations, private and governmental organizations these days conduct CTF competition internationally. And until recent past, this used to be really a serious work, and we can actually identify people. And I heard recently to recruit to a CTF club, they have conducted a competition, CTF competition. They found that almost 90% of all participants could solve CTF problems. And later they found that there is Enigma. Enigma is actually an enhanced interactive generative model agent. By using large language model, including ChatGPT, it can actually receive the capture the flag challenge. As you can see in this green block, there is a capture the flag. Capture the flag finally has to find the flag, and then it can actually iteratively communicate with the challenge server. Okay, through FTP it can communicate. If it is not, again rework it, but ultimately, with almost 90% and above accuracy, it is able to solve a CTF challenge. That's very, interesting one to see over it. So before concluding, let me see all these defensive cybersecurity activities. When it comes to this, in this circle, when you sum defensive security, definitely we have different things. We have firewalls, sandboxing to check the malicious behavior of program. We can have sandbox like bubble trap, fire jail, snort, suricata, intrusion detection can be used for induction. So we have a lot many tools available in the circle, and that Paratois, Kali Linux, these all operating system help us really well in actually conducting real ethical hacking and try to find out the problems and then suggest controls. And we have so many different control mechanism available. Some of them uses AI, some of them without using AI, etc. And finally, let us see NIST, National Information Standards and Technology. NIST came up with a cyber security framework, which is called a CSF. In 2024, there was CSF, cyber security framework called a cyber CSF version 2. They actually came up with a lot of, standard family of security control, like access control, like, awareness and training. There are standard IDs, for example, AC with a serial number, just like, for example, in the case of OWASP, there are standard IDs given for various types of attacks. So similarly, we have NIST security family of, they have given IDs for various things, for maintenance, for media protection, for planning, for personal security, etc., even for risk assessment, etc. Because when it comes to CSF, the idea is to again detect, protect, identify, respond, and recover from cybersecurity attacks. So these are all generally called as the CSF functions when it comes to security controls. And they have defined. Let me quickly go through these administrative controls. Like we have policies, standard guidelines for organizational security rule. NIST framework helps organizations to implement cyber security administrative controls, even including security training guidelines, and what are the possible, if there's a third party vendor, what are the risks, how we can have risk management, etc. Similarly, we can have different types of hardware software solution, like including firewalls. What type of firewall? Do we need a packet filtering firewall, or do we need a stateful instruction firewall? Then endpoint detection and response, and so on. And even when it comes to encryption algorithm, which encryption algorithm has to be used, etc. Similarly, about physical controls, including RFID, biometrics, CCTV, they have lot many guidelines given, and they also have preventive controls to access control lists, network segmentation, management, etc. And detective control, corrective control, action taken after a particular incident happened, how we can restore data, how we can work with backups, how we can have patches to fix any vulnerability which has already been found during ethical hacking, and how we can change any compromised credentials, including your password. Another thing is how we can deter. And this is actually about honeypot. Honeypot is a method how we can actually lure attackers, because attackers or hackers will always be very happy to identify a weak machine in the system. So what we do, we keep a machine deliberately weak. You keep an older version, maybe a Windows XP operating system running machine is there, and then the attacker will be so happy. So what is happening here? You make him to deliberately attack. So make sure honeypots are kept behind a firewall, so that actual systems are protected. So what we are trying to do, you try to keep monitoring and try to deflect the attack. This is exactly what we'll be doing. And then we have compensating attack, that why don't we have some alternative safeguards? Why don't we go for distributed storing of our servers, maybe making use of cloud service to minimize even denial of service attacks, etc. Okay? So in modern security control trends, we have what is called as a zero trust architecture. That means we don't trust anything. Zero trust, no implicit trust, even for insiders, for outsiders. So what we have to do, we have to verify explicitly. Everyone has to be verified. Everything has to be verified. Everything should be validated. And as much as possible, everyone should be only given least privilege to access. Only in critical situation, you elevate the privilege. Otherwise, let all of them work with a very minimum lower privilege. Okay. And have micro segmentation, split the network into isolated segment and protect them, by using right mechanisms, and have real-time deployment in government and enterprises. And there is, there has to be automation, orchestration of security mechanisms, called as SOAR, which is security orchestration and adaptation. And as much as possible, have some agentic AI-based system that let them take action by itself. And there are so many cloud native security controls, like there is already a security assertion markup language. It is actually an XML based language, basically to exchange authentication authorization. So there are a lot of work which is being performed to make things more standardized, and everyone will follow similar structure, so that when we have proper compliance, it's possible that many attacks can be prevented. Similarly, there is an open authorization techniques. By using it will help users to grant a third-party application and access with the limited access, or how much access that can be provided. Similarly, there is an open connect. There is already an OAuth authorization technique available, and so on. Okay. Similarly, there is infrastructure as a code security. There is actually a tool called Terraform, and here this particular tool has been designed to scan, validate, and enforce policies in your infrastructure code. Like you can create Terraform scripts before deploying. So it can, there are a lot of automated technique to deployment. And the last part of this chapter is about DevSec operations. You already know about devs, ops. Until recent past, the development was done independently, operation is done by another team, and whenever your developed application, when it is being deployed, there are a lot of problems, the scalability issue, performance issues, security issue. These all are not being considered, because they are all considered to be as non-functional requirement by the team. But that is not the case anymore. Operation team also will be working along with the development team. That is nothing but DevOps. Now, what about security can be incorporated everywhere? We can have security, right from requirement analysis. If you think like our waterfall model, we can have every phases we can have security related activities. So in the dev security operation believes in embedded security in CI and CD. CI stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. So this is a continuous activity. Some sort of a micro delivery will be kept conducted. So we can say we can go through each one of them. When you are coding, there is static application security settings available, and in every activity, during planning, during monitoring, during deployment, during operation. Even during operation, we keep conducting threat intelligence, patching, log collection. We use some Splunk tools to actually keep analyze the log of any potential threat which is coming in. So to conclude, we need to have a holistic security which is multi-layered, because effective cybersecurity requires you to have a balanced integration of technical, administrative, operational, physical control across all the systems. Very important. And as I said, zero trust and artificial intelligence are new pillars of cybersecurity. Okay, AI-driven adaptive controls has to be made essential to counter all modern emerging AI-powered cyber threats. And we should also definitely use some compliance standard like NIST standard, NIST cybersecurity framework like CSF2, have ISO controls to enhance compliance, and try to have everything to a kind of a proactive threat management, which is very important in monitoring, automating, incident response, everything. And of course, more importantly, human awareness is very important, because people is the most important component in cybersecurity. We have to give appropriate training, awareness, and security culture to remain as a strongest defense against evolving cyber. So with that, let me complete my presentation. Sorry that I haven't given any break in the middle, and I try to cover as much portion in a very short period of time that is given to me. And thank you, Government Engineering College, for giving me this opportunity, and thanking you all for this. So let me conclude. And
Thank you, sir. Participants, if there are any questions, please ask.
do you have any questions pertaining to any topic, you can actually ask me. Thank you, Neha Jain.
Okay, sir. Okay,
So,
sir. It was a very much informative and insightful session regarding cyberspace vulnerabilities and security controls. In a short time, you explained very well about the role of AI in detection, attack creation, and also in threat detection. And also, in a short time, you explained about the quantum computing and its role in cryptography. Thank you very much, sir.
thank you.
Thank you very much for the informative
It's my
session.
pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Participants, we can have a 5 minutes break, and next session can be start after 8 o'clock. And this, okay.
Presentation will continue in the same link. Please join after 5 minutes.
Our expert for the next session is ready. Anyway, all of you can take a 5 minutes break. Thank you.
Please fill the feedback form before going.
Let us start the program. Thank you. I would like to introduce our next speaker, that is Dr. Krantikumar Singamaneni. He is an accomplished academician and researcher in the domain of computer science and engineering with advanced specialization in quantum computing, secure cloud and IoT architectures, and AI/ML driven cybersecurity systems. He earned his PhD in quantum computing and applied cryptography from Gidam deemed to be university in 2020 and holds MTech degree in Information Technology, JNTU Kakinada, and MTech degree in Computer Science, Acharya Nagarjuna University. Currently, Dr. Singamaneni serves as an associate professor and head of CSE department AML at Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Hyderabad campus. With over 18 years of experience spinning academic research and industry, he brings deep interdisciplinary insight into post-quantum cryptography, AI-integrated privacy models, and secure distributed systems. He is a senior member of IEEE and lifetime member of IST-CSI. Industrial experience. Dr. Singamaneni worked as a data specialist at IBM India Private Limited, contributing to enterprise-grade data warehousing and analytics platforms for TIA, a CREF, a Fortune 100 financial institution in US. His responsibilities include training professionals in ETL design, Unix systems, and data transformation techniques, developing secure optimized ETL pipelines using IBM DataStage, Informatica, Oracle, Teradata, and Autosys, facilitating business critical operations including data cleaning, real-time mitigation, migration, and performance tuning. Research highlights. Dr. Singamaneni had authored 35 plus research papers in top Tier 1, Tier 2, ESCI, and Scopus Index journals, showcasing significant innovations in quantum safe, AI-enabled and privacy-enhancing security models. Dr. Singamaneni appointed as the Editor-in-Chief, Center of Cybersecurity, Center of Science, leading the peer-reviewed open access journal, advancing high-quality research in cybersecurity, including network security, quantum cryptography, cyber threat intelligence, and data privacy. He co-authored the book Quantum Computing Models for Cybersecurity and Wireless Communication, WILE, in 2025. He holds 12 published patents in the areas like predictive maintenance for IoT, AI-based cyber attack detection, low-power communication protocols, smart healthcare systems, precision agriculture, and pollution monitoring. His innovations address real-time problems across technology, health, and environmental sectors. He served as keynote speaker, reviewer, technical chair, and research mentor in various national and international conferences. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to be our resource person. I warmly welcome you for the next session. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Over to you.
thank you very much, madam, for your kind words. I thank all the management for conducting this particular event on faculty development. So my voice is audible to you? Do you hear me
Yes,
all?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes, yes. This is very good platform because we are all belongs to same community as a faculty members. So many people are expert in many things. So we join here as a on the platform of a faculty development program. So here we share our thoughts. Here we share our expertise for a greater good and to do good achievements and to enhance our career opportunities also. So, as part of this particular faculty development program, specifically belongs to cybersecurity bootcamp, safeguarding systems and networks. So, here in today's session, the topic is very fundamental topic, but I try to represent that particular cybersecurity landscape with respect to 2025, because in our old textbooks people are talking about fundamental definitions, but this session is not about the fundas. I try to come up with some open source tools, some a small demonstrative tools to engage these particular theoretical aspects. So half of the time we spend on theory discussion, and half of the time we together work on some basic tools Hope you all joined with your laptops or mobile phones, whatever it may be. I tried my best. So here in this particular session, we talk about cyber security landscape and CIA trade and risk management. I'm sharing my screen. My screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam. Right, right. So first we talk about what is the cybersecurity landscape. So I can say that it is at core point, it is a combination of different types of threats. Those threats may be related to some adversaries or methods or tools and vulnerabilities. That vulnerabilities something related to systems, processes, and people. And defenses, I can say that defenses in the point of what type of technology we can use to defense or to protect our system, data, or network from the different types of vulnerabilities. And defense with respect to organizations, defense with respect to policies, and the external context in the sense of geopolitics, regulation, technology evolution. So, and specifically in 2025, this landscape continues to shift rapidly. That means in olden days, we talk about maybe a way back of 20 years back, there is no point of using those cloud and everything. But here, when we consider a particular cyber security, means that security may be related to cloud, may be related to database, may be related to a particular grid based or with respect to system, with respect to data, with respect to network. Many combinations are there. And now because of these after COVID, before that entire India, we need to work upon, we do some different types of financial transactions with the less amount of online transactions and more into physical transaction. But when after COVID, digital transformation is expanding rapidly in terms of via cloud or IoT or 5G, 6G technologies and AI enabled technologies, with which this cause the ease of a lifestyle, at the same time expanding the attack surface also. So that is first point. And the second point, adversaries or problems are becoming more sophisticated because either technology is evolving, means that technology which is used by a person, that person may be with intention or without intention, that may cause to damage. So though this technology is a something related to brain, that brain may be for using for good or bad. So when the attackers are using the same technology, it become more sophisticated, more automated, and more global. And because of these, organizations face just not about if and when a breach will happen, that resistance and rapid response matter as much as prevention. So in recent days, we talk about emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and those are act as a part of the conversation. So next point, the main key features of today's cybersecurity landscape is, first one is AI driven threats and defenses. So the main point is attackers increasingly use artificial intelligence for automated, sophisticated attacks like deep fake phishing or adaptive malware and ransomware. So defenders also rely on AI for proactive detection and rapid response. So this is one point. And one more feature we need to consider is zero trust and identity security. The purpose is multiple financial organizations or any business organizations or government sectors adopt zero trust architectures, means when they design for something, initially they come up with the multiple systems, multiple networks. At that time they check those things and assume that they are not compromised, And in what initial stage, so we assume that initially we checked, that means they never compromise. So you should not depend upon like that way. So zero trust means continuous cyclic process, or regular intervals of times we need to check the architecture. We need to verifying different types of users, devices, networks, and applications to identify is now a major battleground for attackers and defenders, because we don't know what are the open sources or open ports. Some third party person may be trying to log into your system, and they may be using your confidential data, either in active way or passive way. You know about active attacks and passive attacks. Next one is the critical infrastructure targeting. That means threats are expanding beyond IT into operational technology, industrial controls, such as IoT or industrial IoT, which cause major risks to manufacturing, energy, and transportation sectors also. Next one, rapidly changing attack techniques. So, attackers or hackers, I can say that cyber criminals exploit new vulnerabilities, use automated reconnaissances, and leverage supply chain attacks at increased speed and scale. And next, regulatory pressure and executive accountability. So here governments have introduced new mandates or policies that requiring stricter product security, faster disclosure, and leadership accountability for breaches. That means when a breach occurs, then we need to identify at what point it occurs, whether the breach occurs because of the inside employee or outside employee. But we need to recruit some more technical advanced network admins or architects to identify things very uh, effective way, right? And the next one, quantum risks. And now people are talking about quantum cryptography, because my research area also something related to quantum key management and quantum key distribution. So there is a growing emphasis on preparing for quantum computing risk. That means as of now people are talking about RSA algorithm, public cryptography, private cryptography, math based, attribute based encryption. All those are very critical to decrypt by using classical machines. But according to Grovers and some of the algorithms, quantum algorithms, they already proved that Shor's algorithm proved that the breaking of RSA algorithm very easy by using quantum computer. That means classical computer take more number of years of time to crack a RSA algorithm, but within polynomial time, within reasonable time, quantum machine can crack it. So in that case, we believe that we should not be in the safe hands. Next one, um, complexity and the continuous change. That is, the volume and the sophistication of threats continue to grow. So defenders must constantly adopt new strategies, train employees, and embrace cyber resilience as a core business function. So next point is the basic building blocks of strong legal cybersecurity framework. So here we need to construct. Someone is. Could you please off your audio, please? I request participants please off your mic audio. We are getting disturbance. So. Yeah, thank you. Right. Right. So here the next content is the building blocks of strong legal cybersecurity framework. So for this one, we need to construct a solid legal foundations. That means organizations should enact and keep up to date a comprehensive legal and policy framework based on a solid national cybersecurity strategy. So this particular framework should be built upon some of the key principles. First one is risk based and prioritized. That means cyber threats come in many shapes and many forms with varying degrees of severity. So, establishing a hierarchy of priorities based on an objective assessment of risk with the critical assets or critical sectors at the top in an effective starting point from which to ensure that these cyber protections are focused on those particular areas where the potential for harm is greatest. That is called something under a risk based and prioritized. And next should be technology neutral. That means this particular approach is used for as a part of cybersecurity protection. It is very important to ensure access to the most secure and effective solutions in the marketplace. So specific requirements or policies that mandate the use of certain technology only undermine security by restricting evolving security controls and best practices and potentially creating single point of failure. And the third point is practicable. That is, any strategy is only as effective as it is adoptable by the largest possible group of critical assets and implementable across the broadcast uh, in a wide range of critical actors. That is, overly burdensome government supervision of private operators or disproportionately intrusive regulatory intervention in their operational management of cybersecurity risk would most often prove counterproductive, or I can say that diverting resources from effective and scalable protection. Next one is flexible. That is, managing cyber risk is a cross-disciplinary function and no one size fits all approach exists. Each industry system and business faces a different various challenges, and the range of actors must have flexibility to address their unique needs. And next one is respectful of privacy and civil liberties. That is, a security requirement should be duly balanced with the need for protection of privacy and civil liberties. That is, guaranteeing that requirements and obligations are proportionate, do not represent more intrusion in fundamental rights than what is strictly necessary. That means we should maintain a balance about what is a right and what is and how can we utilize that particular right in an efficient way which do not disturb or do not impact the others privacy. Next one is establishment operational entities with the key responsibilities. It is like for we can provide security for multiple organizations or governments. In this case, uh, we should set up operational entities to support the prevention of cybersecurity incidents and ensure responses to them. So, a core component of this is the establishment of operational computer security, emergency, and incident response teams. And next one is engender trust and work in partnership. So no country or government can address cybersecurity risk in isolation. We just need a collaborative work. For example, if any incident is happened in one particular place, that particular government or that particular organizations share their views and share in what way they affected by sharing those things via social media platforms. That in what way, for example, if you look into that one, we have a many Instagram videos or Facebook videos. Those people say that when they're creating a fake account as your own friend and pretend to be your colleague, and he ping that I lost my mobile phone, I lost these things. So they try, initially we trust them and we transfer some money, and later on we realize that that particular hacker pretend to act as your friend. So you need to share the same thing to all your colleagues. In the same way, multiple organizations, any ransomware attack is happened, in what way that is happened, we need to provide all the details to everybody to take care and to prevent that those particular tasks happen again and again. And next one is, under this engender, we need to work upon partnering with the private sector. That is, most infrastructure is owned by the private sector, making effective public private cooperational essential. That cooperation also enhances the effectiveness of risk management by improving the sharing of information, as I explained just now, and their experiences, the perception of the multiple sources. These particular efforts are needed to foster trust and avoid legal obstacles that may hinder it. So next, second point, global rather than isolated point. So given that cyber threats are global, effective cybersecurity policies and strategies need to maintain an international outlook and build on joint efforts with partners and allies. They should also leverage international, voluntary, and market-driven, I can say that, market-driven standards in order to maximize that regional and global information sharing and protection. And next one is foster education and awareness. So it's about cybersecurity risk. People, something related to process or a technology are equally important to ensuring cybersecurity. Even the best technology will be ineffective if not used appropriately, because when we are taking when we spend lakhs of rupees, when we are hiring particular structure or architecture, when the proper trained employees are not there, so that particular technology may not be used how to use it. So creating awareness and educate training about clearly articulate cybersecurity priorities, principles, and policies, processes, and programs are very important components of any cybersecurity strategy. So based on this, we collect some of the things during this survey. I spent some time and I can extract some report from the Asia Pacific Cybersecurity Dashboard. May I request the participants to off your audio, Dr. Dilip Garu. That's right. So it is in this particular report we are extracting that it was published by Business Software Alliance in the year 2023. Still, they are following the same thing. So the purpose of this particular dashboard is to provide in what type of specific policies they design, and whether those policies are following by multiple countries or not. So here we extract the data from different countries, as I showing here, countries compared, something related to Japan, Malaysia, India, Vietnam. So whatever the data extracted, we executed some a little bit of Python program, and I try to generate multiple reports with respect to number of breaches and with respect to A enabled attacks, with respect to web attacks. Just a minute, I'm showing things. So it is something about Asia specific cybersecurity dashboard. So the main purpose is here, as I explained in previous slide. Now, what are the legal foundations we need to consider? For example, is there a national cybersecurity strategy in place? That means a particular country must have an official national plan that outlines how it will protect its digital systems, networks, and data from cyber threats. This strategy guides all cybersecurity activities and responsibilities. So the main point is, when, for example, if you consider India, most of the transactions we are doing via UPI, phone pay transactions. So one basic example is, when we want to purchase something on OLX or something, the third party person send one particular QR code and request that, sir, please scan the QR code and you can get your money back. So when you scan the QR code, it's showing 5,000 rupees only. But when you click yes, automatically, we don't know whether it's sending or receiving. That the main purpose of the QR code is that maybe receiving from that side. So these particular points should be aware of these as a first point, first question. And next, what year was the national cybersecurity strategy adopted? So all these questions we framed, and based on these questions, in top I can mention that whether it is enabled by country wise, yes or no, or some of the policies are implemented partially. So second point is, when they adopted a particular policy, maybe in 2009, 13, but based on the year, we can decide that whether that particular law is addressing the present landscape, present existing problems or not. Because when we design something old, afterwards many novel cyber attacks will come into the picture, and according to law, there is no law to address that particular one. So I can say that it shows how recent or outdated that strategies. Cybersecurity threats evolve quickly, so older strategies may not address new risk like uh, ransomware, some social engineering attacks, and AI enabled attacks, AI adversaries, or cloud security. Things are there. That is second point. And next, third point is there a critical infrastructure protection, we call it as a CIP, strategy or plan in place? That means critical infrastructure means this entire country depend upon major sectors. First one is banking, financial transactions. Second one is health, hospitals. The next one is maybe electrical systems, water systems. Because when we are evolving automatically, we combine all these artificial intelligence automation techniques to your finance systems, hospitals, water systems. For example, if you look into e-commerce site Amazon, so when we have a doubt, when we are requiring, there is a predefined option called one particular agent. So when we are communicating with each other, so the communication with agent with the man is not possible by 24 by 7. So they come up with some a set of 1,000 or 10,000 questions. So when they tried with one model, automatically it reply back every transaction details also. In that case, will that these systems must be shielded from cyber attacks to avoid national disruption. That is third point. And fourth point, is there a legislation or a policy that requiring a written information or requires establishment of written information or not? That means ensures that organizations formally document, that is policy document should be there, how they will protect data, assign roles, what are the different roles, and create response procedures. Without documentation, we don't know. Because when year changes, when government changes, if you fix with one particular document, based on that document we can take the actions. And next one, are security, are is there any policy requiring an inventory of systems and classification of data? So here classification of data means when we are working with any cloud or anything, at that time we need to clearly identify which is more confidential, which is less confidential. I can say that public, private, and confidential. So the most sophisticated algorithm should apply on the more confidential. That may be banking sector, that may be with respect to user wise, that may be credential. For example, if you're creating Facebook or LinkedIn or anything, there you can share your name, that's fine. Phone number somewhat fine, but sharing credentials related to debit card or credit card, it may not be good thing to share those things. So like that way, here we created multiple questionnaire. And here uh, when according to Asia specific cybersecurity dashboard or BSA, Business Software Alliance, they sent, and most of these 9 countries responded that. If you look into the first question, Australia responded yes, there is a predefined national cybersecurity strategy is there, and China partially agreed. India, it is agreed. We have a 2000 cybersecurity, 2000 act law. Indonesia, no. Japan, yes. Malaysia. So like this way, we collected multiple questions according to cybersecurity landscape 2025. Now this is the report with respect to different types of questions related to legal foundations. Hope you are getting my point, right? Next, uh, sorry. And here, operational entities. So here we can mention about some of the point, like is there any national computer emergency response team or computer security incident response team? So what is the purpose of these things? What is use of these things? Because this CERT, or sometimes we call it as a CSIRT, is the official national team responsible for detecting, analyzing, and responding to cyber incidents. Its existence is core to national cyber defense. That means, without these things, if you're not considered this operational entity, then multiple, if you are not providing this particular framework, we may assume that when it will come, at that time we can see that one. No, you continuously monitor entire organization employee details, continuously referring them, access policies, system checking, monitor checking, data checking. We repeat these things automatically. So manually it is not possible. It is a wonderful research area how to automate the process. For example, how to check the system health, how to check whether your data is protected or not, how to check multiple ports, among those multiple ports relevant to your system, how many are open, how many are closed. So we need to prepare the things, and in olden days we can approach manually, so it is very difficult to scrutinize 24/7. That's why AI come into the picture. So by using machine learning models, we can train those things automatically. That particular model 24/7, it is working on the same thing. And second point, what year was the computer emergency response team established? Maybe it is old year. Again, some new threats will come. So again, we need to update these policies also. Because simple thing, virus, antivirus. So if you're working 2006 antivirus now, it may not be help you, right? So based on these operational entities, public-private partnerships, sector-specific cyber, so education, additional, based on these are the countries responded like this way. Yes, they have one computer emergency response team in 2010 to the by Australia, 2002 by some other things. So we spend almost 1 or 2 hours of time to collect all these data and provide it here for you. So see this particular report. The main purpose is, for example, if you want to try to work upon some research area, if you look into this one, is there a defined public-private partnership (PPP) for cybersecurity? If it is no, then as an academician, as a researcher, it is your responsibility take up that particular data because it is not existed, right? So most problem with the research is identify the problem. So these survey reports will help you to identify what things are not existed. It directly leads to research gap. So based on the research gap, take that particular point, start working on that one, right? This is a key point to start your work. So this is some strategic information about specifically, because I tried for extracting global wise survey, but I didn't get much time. This is specifically related to Asia's Pacific Cybersecurity Dashboard. So here almost we collect the data of these 9 countries: Australia, China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam. Once you collect all the data, on top of that, we generate some reports. That means this Asia specific EPAC region shows that organizations are experiencing increasing or more complex cyber attacks because when people are not following any policies, sorry. At this case, so you need to understand when AI come into the picture, and when the digital transformation evolving rapidly, and when we are working via cloud based on the remote work environments in these current scenarios, based on this particular scenario, just that means multiple software companies are working online or virtual platforms by using. So when they're interacting with each other, uh, at this particular cybersecurity landscape, what are the major problems or what are the major attacks faced by multiple countries? First one is with respect to breach frequency by country. So here, when you look into this particular report, based on that survey report, we did some web scraping and we extracted this particular results. they clearly mentioned that Vietnam, it is showing almost 69% breach frequency, which is highest, and Thailand around 63%, and followed by, see, India is almost 55%. That means what we need to understand here is countries experiencing rapid digital expansion within in between 5 years or 10 years, and growing cloud adoption. That means for individuals it is not possible to spend much amount, it is not possible to design our own cloud, because even small companies also depend upon multiple cloud things, something like Azure web, Amazon, and Google cloud. So that means you dump all your data into that particular cloud, and you assume that the data is secure, but it may not be, right? So in that growing cloud adoption without equivalent security readiness, that means most of the people are assume that they are working on production models, classification models to identify the accuracy, F4 score, everything, and they assume that data. So whatever the results they are getting, that model is good, that model is fine, they're getting more accurate results. But whatever the data you are storing into cloud, that may be taken by some other person, maybe, just imagine if it is compromised, or if that entire data training model will be in wrong hands, they may use some artificial intelligence, ML, adversary technique, that is malfunction the training program. Automatically it's showing some results are, if you look into autonomous vehicles, so assumption is when we are traveling to right direction, when red symbol is there, at that time when your mistrained data, that may be show as a green symbol. Just imagine if they mistrain like that way, automatically there may be accident. Like that way, there are many combinations are there with respect to breach frequency by country. So next point is with respect to web attacks specifically. So based on the data given by 9 countries, if you look into that one, same here, Vietnam shows almost 82%. The rise of internet facing services, or I can say that fintech, or health, or e-commerce, or application program interface based applications, increases exposure to all these things, and which leads to something attacks called SQL injection, or session hijacking, or cross-site scripting. One problem is there, and bot-driven confidential or credential stuffing. So based on these things, if you look into that one, Vietnam plays almost 82%. India, just imagine, 68% till 2024. It representing 68% of India show that highest exposure to web application attacks. Next one is so here zero trust adoption trends. Here, what is actually implemented, that yellow symbol, that orange symbol, what they're planning coming 1 year. That means here emerging markets, something like Vietnam and Thailand, are adopting zero trust rapidly, indicating reactive when particular problem or attack occurs, reactive moderation after repeated breaches. So when that breach occurs, automatically they take up the breach, they spend a much amount of time on that one. They do analysis clearly, and they observe that what type of that attack is. Based on that attack, they come up with the remedies, and they train that particular ML model. And when a new breach of the same type is coming, automatically the trained ML model identifying the problem, and it generates some signals. Immediately they either they hold that one, they prevent that one. At least they can take some countermeasures to avoid most loss of data as compared to least one. But in case of if you look into developed market, Singapore shows strategic phased adoption, balancing cost and operational disruption. So zero trust is becoming the standard security architecture for 2025. That means zero trust adoption means do not trust anybody. When you start your organization, when we are working with multiple employees, people, network data, initially you scan everything, and at that time there are no compromise. You believe that it is happen, it may not be continuously happen, but next also every time for a frequent manners, maybe a week, a month, repeat the same process by using models, AI models, and scan everything and identifying the system security, system health, data security, data health, everything. That is called uh, trust nobody. trust nobody at any point of time, right? So next one, with respect to AI-driven cyber attacks, that means as of now we talk about we are trying the AI model for detection of the attack. In the same manner, the same AI models may be implemented by attackers or hackers. They use the technology. They use the technology, and using the technology, they may automate the process, and they observe all the things about your system, your details. Anyway, the next slide, I'll come up with some basic hands-on tools to identify about your Gmail ID is compromised or not, to identify whether your browser is compromised or not, any data breaches. We will show everything at that point of time. So here, AI is enabling means automated phishing. That means once you train the model, because technology or AI models, they are not ethical intelligence, what is wrong and what is right. So it is depend upon on what hand it is working. In that case, that automated phishing may be happen, social engineering attacks may be happen, and AI generated malware or deepfake based identity impersonation, or maybe some, I can say that uh, large scale credentials harvesting things are happened. We may assume those different type of things. And next point is the CIA. So as of now we talk about many things, everything. If you look into any attack, it should be come up with those 3 points only. One is confidentiality, integrity, availability. So as a faculty members, you already familiar what is confidentiality, what is integrity. I don't want to mention much time on that one. That is prevent unauthorized access, nobody read our data. Integrity, nobody change our data. Availability means for which person it is allocated, that person only utilizing entire thing, not for other persons. So in this case, the interdependence problem, it is somewhat interesting. It may be a combination of I can say that with the trust, with autonomy, and with the safety in AI systems. In that case, just a minute. To achieve these things, here we come up with some demonstration tools. Now the session will maybe somewhat interesting. Some people may be familiar with all these things. For example, in first case, have I been pawned? So this particular site checks if your email password was leaked in breach or not. Let's go for one sample case here. I open this site. Sorry. So my screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for example, I maybe 10, 15 years back, I created this particular Gmail account. So this particular site, check your mail ID is compromised or not, or breaches. See here, almost 12 data breaches for my own mail ID. So let's see what are the breaches. For example, in Jan 2021, Twitter. See here. So the data was obtained sometime in 2021 by abusing an API. They created one particular API that enabled email addresses to be resolved to Twitter profiles. So because of this one, what are things compromised? My email address, names, social media profiles, usernames, almost 200 millions. Just imagine, 200 millions records are breached. Those who are having Twitter accounts. If you look into those details, they clearly explain affected accounts, breach occurred, and added HIVB at what time, and compromised data, email addresses are compromised, social media profiles such as Orkut or Facebook, and recommended actions. What we need to do: try one password, and second one, Next, second breach is what? It is a big basket. See here. In October 2020, the breach was happened. That means in what way it is leaked? That is in April the following year and include email, IP and physical addresses names by using that Django SHA-1 hashes. In that case, in that breach, what things are leaked? Your date of birth, email address, IP address, names, password, phone numbers, physical addresses. These 6 or 7 columns is enough to estimate about your behavior. For example, if you look into physical addresses, they clearly identify when we are staying and when we are changing our addresses, where we are locating, and some Gravitaire and some Nitro, Ixigo. Ixigo, you know about Ixigo. That is some a train reservation system. Next, Dubsmash, Zomato, Exploit.in, Digiman. See here. So you can try with your own thing that you can use your email IDs and you can check with this one whether how much data is leaked or not. So that you can get some point. And second one, so here, what things compromises confidentiality. That is someone is observing, someone reading your data, someone taking your passwords, right? And next one, uh, am I unique? Sometimes it is open, or sometimes it may not be, but I'll try. Yes, it is coming. So see my fingerprint. It will generate sometime. So it shows about how your device or browser is uniquely trackable. That means some people are activating cookies when they open new websites. Automatically, it is asking about accept cookies. When you are accepting cookies, what type of data they are tracking, they are taking from you. And for example, when we are looking to some e-commerce sites, when we are referring one Amazon site, when you have spent some time on that one, on what particular device you want to plan to buy. So the same thing repeated for multiple locations also, based on the same thing. They're tracking all the data via browser. See here. So almost here. It contains some the end. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, some 4 lakh, 45 lakhs. So they clearly mentioned our operating system is 40. So in how much percentage I'm using? Windows operator 45%. And most, yes, of course, most of the times I spend my time on web browser, Chrome. And of course, we are using English language only. And what is my time zone with the probability? And see here, crazy man. See, user agent, I am using the same Mozilla 5.0, except this one. And content of encode, what type of algorithms are using for content encoding via mail and through browser, gzip. Because if you understand gzip, automatically you know in what way you can implement gzip algorithm. Based on you can crack it. And what type of language. And next one, user agent, platform, cookies enabled, time zone, content language, canvas, list of fonts, use of ad block, navigator properties. See, many things. These things is enough for a particular hacker to know better about you, and it is easy to take up your data. And permissions here, I can give permission for clipboard read, geolocation, background sync, microphone. Yes, granted, microphone prompt, MIDI, notifications. So this particular thing will give about user of local storage, how much percentage. See, it is a entire history about your web browser, right? That is called my fingerprint, about your information. Here also we'll ask confidentiality, and so I try this one. It is also that tests how the website track your online behavior. Let's see, but that also. Yeah, I just testing your browser. Just it is testing, and it gives multiple information about your browser, whether it is whether you are how many persons are tracking information and what type of data they're tracking. Will take some time. See this one. See how trackers view your browser. Right. See, it is about all your data. Your results, your browser appears to be unique, detailed results, web headers, what headers you are using, HTTP accept headers, browser characteristics, and time zone, and screen size, and color depth of my laptop, my system, and fingerprint with the system fonts, what type of fonts I'm using, and how is used in your fingerprint. And yes, our cookies are enabled. Yes, cookies are enabled. All these things are so because of these things, there might be a compromise of both confidentiality at the same time integrity. So, anyways, Google My Activity, you may familiar with these two things. This is all about some data privacy. And next is network privacy. That means when I come up with one scenario, because we are all meet one particular open network, public Wi-Fi network. That particular admin said that your systems may be connected to this particular LAN. That Wi-Fi is free. So in that case, if you are using different protocols, what type of tools they use it to capture your traffic? So the best way is many tools are there. I come up with Wireshark now. So this is one of capturing traffic capturing tool. So when I open it, are you able to see this Wi-Fi? Some health metrics is there. Health metrics. Are you able to see this? Are you able to see this health?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that means the your system is connected to a particular internet by using Wi-Fi network. It is the first assumption. When you open it once, see here, automatically it captures everything. Our scenario is we all connected. We are all come to one particular meet some place at open place. At that time, that when you it may be a airport, a lunch, or any public cafe. They said that Wi-Fi is free. We all connected to public Wi-Fi. That particular public Wi-Fi administrator using this Wireshark to capture all the packets. For that Wi-Fi network, we are all connected. We are all communicating with each other by using multiple protocols. This is the scenario. So see here in background, they're capturing everything. This UDP protocol, and TCP protocol, RTCP, many things are there. In computer networks, you all familiar with these UDP, TCP, fine, but we go to some more extent. For example, I go with old protocols. For example, to encourage the session more engaging way, I go with some FTP protocol. Hope you are familiar with file transmission protocol, FTP. So for FTP, I already connected for one sample user, FTP server side. Here, my intention is in background, Wireshark is running. As a team members, we don't have about that one, and we are all connecting. We are all transferring our data by using FTP. Just imagine file transmission protocol. So I just go to command prompt and connected to FTP protocol and connected it. So my screen is visible to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here I just type some user ID and I entered password. I don't know whether it is password right or wrong, but I entered user ID and password. But when I entered this one, automatically that particular user ID password is captured by this Wireshark. So here I stop the traffic. I search with a filter FTP because I use FTP transfer protocol.
Sir, we are not. Sir, your mic is mute.
Yeah, now my voice is audible to you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, madam. Right. So where is that? See here. So Wireshark that automatically captures the username and also password also. just I type the guess me only, but in front we assume that these protocols are safe, and we type user ID passwords, and we assume that they maintain confidentiality integrity, but they never. So that way we can demonstrate our students or faculty members these protocols are not secure. That's why these cryptographic concepts come into the picture by adding security mechanisms, by creating keys, by encryption, decryption. Many things are there. This is one possibility. And second possibility, this time I work with the telnet. That is one of the protocol. For telnet also I use some sample site here, telnet. There are many things are there. I go with this particular site, telehack.com. So before that, what I do is, again, that third party person, they start capturing packets by using Wireshark. See here. In background, this particular show, we don't know. In background, it is capturing something else. So on front, when we multiple people are connected to that particular Wi-Fi, we just communicating via many applications are there. By command prompt, I just open telnet. Sorry. Yes, I just open telnet and open telehack. We connected. We successfully connected to our office service maybe. So if you look into that, there are multiple commands are there. For example, I just log in with the login command, login. So it is asking about username. Now, for example, some username. I entered some user ID password. So we assume that we successfully with login with your credentials, we log into that particular server, and you can start your work, entire things. But in background, Wireshark is running, and that particular third party person at the end of the day, they stop the traffic and search with the same particular portal by using the same ID, and he search for that how many bytes are required. They follow TCP string, and if you look into that one, just imagine, see here, in what way, for which one I connected, it's showing telehack. What is the port number? It's showing for the third party person, those who are using this capturing tool. And they clearly show that I execute the command login, and I executed the username ABC, and I entered some password. See here, cut. So this is the way the hackers or third party persons, they track up all the data, and through web there, as of now, theoretically we explained about those things, but for secure, for example, for SFTP or for HTTPS, for those things we need some more additional mechanisms, Pursuit or Kali Linux, to explore those things in depth, in detail. That is different session. It is not possible to work within 1 hour or 2 hours. For now, this is one type. As of now, we talk about file transfer, because all the data in plain text only. User ID is in plain text, password is in plain text. So there is no point of. So that's why we start explaining cryptography. That means even though they cracked this data by using this such type of tools, the open data should not be in the plain text. Still, it is in ununderstandable format. That is called ciphertext. And next case. This time I go with again same set. I stop capturing, and again start capturing, and this time I go with this one, and username student maybe. This is HTTP site. It is unsecure. You know that hypertext transmission protocol without TLS SLS, it is unsecure. So in background, if you use HTTP site, what will happen? So they start this one. TCP string and come down. Where is login password? See here. If you look into this one, username is student I entered, and password is I am plain text. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these are the different types of Many tools are there. This Wireshark is one of the tool. By using this one, we can capture the things, and we can demonstrate about. As of now, point is that confidentiality, integrity is not at all work with these plain protocols, which is not combined with cryptographic techniques. That's why people stop using this TCP and hypertext transmission protocols and HTTP. They enabled with HTTPS with by adding some security protocols, hashing algorithms, plain text. Many combinations are there. There is other things. And back to our things. So here I mentioned different types of tools for audience. So when you have a time, please install these things and try to explore and try to get some information, hands-on information. It is very good for our students also to engage the classes effective way by using learning by doing concepts, a think, pair, share, a teaching methodology. Many things are there. So this is something about here I mentioned many cloud privacy tools are there and password authentication tools are there. Many things are there. So as of now, we're talking about what type of attacks, and next final concept is risk management. So it is about um, it is a particular a specific process that is in what way we need to identify or assess or prioritize the risk to protect organizational assets. That organizational assets is in the form of data or our processor or a system or a cloud or network or people. Many things are there about reputation also. So the main components are this one: asset, threat, vulnerability, and risk. So these theoretical concepts we are already familiar with. You may be familiar. Uh, so anything that has a value to must be protected. That is, in case of asset means it is a physical device or maybe a particular software, something related to database research, or specifically when I talk about our student faculty, we have a ERP LMS portal. So when attendance is priority, that we need to give a strong security mechanism, best password techniques to avoid those things. And so find the risk formula equal to likelihood of attack and impact. And for cybersecurity risk management, in what way we can go with the things? First, identify what are the priorities or if are most valuable things. So based on that one, we need to go with the implement what type of algorithm is suitable, identify assets, identify threats, identify vulnerabilities, and analyze the risk and how to mitigate or overcome the risk and monitor and review. So once you identify a risk is this type, do not you need to maintain one particular documentation on that one, and that documentation is shared to everybody. On top of the documentation, conduct some assessments to your faculty members or your students or any organizations. That means they need to familiar in what way they can grab your data without your consent, so that they understand whenever the same type of activity or risk will come, they should be familiar and they need to avoid, and you can through that way we can reduce the damage. So here based on the multiple risk, we can categorize into three things: low, medium, high. Low means we can consider as a warning, it's a breach. Through breaches there might be a chance of impact, maybe go to medium and high. Also if it is high, immediately you need to put some attention on that one and maintain log information. And for risk reduction, these are the things. For if you go with already people are implementing about multi-factor authentication. When you are entering password by using a new web browser, new system, automatically it give a prompt to your existing mobile phone. It has already happened. And that is for credentials or user ID password. With respect to confidentiality, along with the data, you can go with one encryption techniques. In transit means while transmitting data from one place to other place. That means one system to other system. These two systems are connected with a public network. Among these multiple networks, there is a combination of multiple routers. So we don't know, some routers may be compromised. That means when a data is transferred to that compromised node, there might be a chance of leaking of data. Even the data is leaked, we should apply a strong encryption mechanism on that one. Even though they try to open the data, they never understand what it is. and it will take years of time to crack it by using classical machines. But at the starting of the class, I said that quantum machines come into the picture. That they are very fast, very aggressive to crack up data within reasonable of time. So in that case, these existing classical cryptography or traditional cryptography, they are no longer useful, because in multinational companies they come up with one RSA token. It is a 6-digit combination. Every 1 minute will change. So when they try to access their private network, they enter their password along with this RSA token. So if quantum machine is able to crack that particular code within a minute, then your entire system will compromise. But classical machines, it is very difficult. But quantum machines theoretically proved, but there are not much things are happened. That is about technical controls. And second point, administrative policy controls. So when a risk is occurred, you need to design a policy. In that policy, clearly mentioned at what year it is identified. And when these policies are not constant, but year by year, when cyber security, cyber threats are evolving, with respect to that particular threats, we need to improvise your policies and defines a new policies, and in what way, in digital world, in what way you need to behave, and in what way you can take up the backup and recovery policy, and the data classification. That means among the multiple collection of data, some data may be open and accessible, fine. Some data may not be open and accessible. So categorize clearly which one is confidential, which is private, which is public. Based on that, we can apply the multiple manual approaches or AI enabled algorithms to effective utilization of resource. For example, for public data, you may not be apply the concrete algorithms to reduce the to reduce the effective utilization of resources with reasonable time. So last one is, that is something like a social engineering attack, that is human awareness controls. Every person should know about in what way they can utilize that particular system. For example, when I was with IBM, my manager initially passing rules that when you are leaving your particular system, you should lock it. It is a human, it is in our hands. When we are working, open it. When we are going for coffee or something, just lock it and apply the password and going, and we can go outside. And following by that, phishing simulations, many things are there. So institutional context with respect to student and staff accounts, research data, campus Wi-Fi, smart classrooms, these things we already familiar with one. So this is something about today's concept about cybersecurity landscape, and followed by uh, confidentiality, integrated and availability, and risk management. So now you can spend some time on these tools. I will share those tools to you. Please explore by using your own systems. I will share these things to you. Where is that? Where is chat box? So here I provided some links. Please use those links, and the same thing, you can explore your own web browsers and see. And next one is so I request all the participants spend some time on those whatever the links I provided to you. So here I stop that point there before demonstration about that interdependence problem. This is specifically about, I can say that the latest modern systems require, what can I say that, where is that report? Where is that? Yeah, this one. Here, right? Yeah. So here, specifically, this interdependence problem means these require extended modern beyond traditional CA. That means confidentiality, integrity, availability with the trust, autonomy, and safety in AI systems. That means this particular expansion reflects the complexity which will encounter in institutional environments where autonomous systems and AI-driven decision making are increasingly embedded. That means these modern digital systems are no longer static in nature. They are not isolated, are human controlled. So that means today's systems are something related to distributed, such as people are using cloud systems. That means you are storing your data not in personal systems. You are storing your data that cloud, which was managed by some certified authority, may be trustable, may not be trustable. That means this data is not in our control, such as cloud or IoT or 5G networks. That's I can say that distributed. Second point is autonomous. That means individually taking decision making by automatically. That means automation. That is AI ML based decision making and interconnected across institutions, regions, or sectors. And next point is they're flexible, adaptive, and self-modifying. That is AI-based threat response. That is when threat occurs at that time, manual intervention may not be possible at all the time. That's why we train the models automatically when risk occurs. That AI model itself take the decisions in what way they need to respond back. So because of these combinations, security risks are now mutually depends across multiple layers and not isolated to your specific systems. So that is called interdependence problem. This is a one. Most of the research are happening on this particular interdependence problem. In what way we can provide trust? Many algorithms are there. In what way we can provide autonomy? Many algorithms are there. In what way can provide safety with respect to AI systems? There are also many algorithms are there. So you can take any point, it can lead to some good problem statements. So this is something about some this basic session. I tried my best to provide some minimum information. If any doubts, please bring it on.
Thank you, sir.
Participants,
Yes, ma'am.
if you have any questions, please.
I think there is no questions. If anybody have some question, kindly raise your hand, please.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. That I share all these tools. And anyways, I'll share this PPT to the FTP administrative team, so they will share your PPT to you. So at your convenient time, please explore all these things. If any doubts, please reach me at my mail ID. And if any collaborative works on behalf of Symbiosis International University, we have a 500 journals of Springer journals, and any relevant work, uh, please come forward. We will provide the full funding support if any collaborative works are there.
Okay, sir.
For researchers and anybody, we can do best things, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would like to say an official thank you for you, sir.
yes, ma'am.
Within a short span of time, you agreed for our work collaboration, and you delivered a very good lecture. And you try to give maximum knowledge, share your maximum knowledge within the allowed time. And in the future also, we are expecting your support and guidance. Thank you so much, sir. I know you, after a very hectic day and traffic jams, you reach the home and spend time for us, 1.5 hours. And your slides preparation, everything I know take much time. I would like to propose, convey my regards on behalf of the college, Government Engineering College Wayanad, and especially for the Department of CSE on behalf of this Atal FDP. Thank you on behalf of all the participants and from the Government Engineering College Wayanad. Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
madam.
much for your efforts.
Uh,
Thank you very much for
Ranti
being.
Kumar sir, very good evening, sir. I can able to get your email address, sir.
Yes, sir. I share into this. I will share into WhatsApp group, sir.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, I
Sure,
can
sir.
share here
Sure.
also.
Okay, sir, I
Thank
will share your email ID.
Yes, madam. I will share to Shibli ma'am. She will share to you.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and thank you all the participants. Ma'am, shall I wind up the session or?
Okay, thank you, sir. Good
Yeah,
night.
yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you all. Right, right. Bye.
Good night.
Uh, Ma'am, while posting the feedback link at here, it is not shared as link. So in the chat box, it is very difficult to click on that and to redirect to the feedback form.
Sir, most of the people have they give response. Actually,
No, no,
one
no,
ma'am
ma'am. I've
actually.
done. I've done. I have done no
Okay,
issues. The thing is, many
okay,
people have faced difficulties based on the link is shared as it is like a normal text message. If it is shared as a link, it will be very helpful. When they click on, it will redirect to the feedback. For me, it's okay, ma'am. No issues. I can do that. But many of them, that's
okay.
why they keep
So
on asking
it's viewed as a text message.
yes, ma'am. It's not look as like a link. So when they click on that, it is asking them to copy it and go
Here
to the.
here in our chat box, it's viewed as a link only. That's why
Oh,
I'm
okay, ma'am.
asking.
But it is commonly showing us for the like that, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I will change it. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
okay.
Sure, ma'am.
I will
Thank you.
share in WhatsApp too.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
So
Okay.
we will do both
Yes,
here
ma'am.
also
Sure.
in the WhatsApp group. Thank you all the participants for patient listening. Any shortcomings you kindly bring to our notice, and we can meet tomorrow. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am. It is a wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Shall we close the meeting, madam? Nanya, madam?
Yes.
What about
Okay.
session second link?
Already given here, sir. Session 2.
Feedback feedback link is given here.
Okay.
You once more you paste it here, madam.
Madam, feedback link is not working, madam. It is not open.
You kindly use your official email ID used in the adult portal. Using that, we created the group and given the permissions that you must be you. Then only you can.
Yes, madam. I am using that one only, that email
Okay.
only.
No, sir. Ma'am, I've shared that in the WhatsApp, so I can
Yeah,
see that.
we
Yeah,
done
now
it
it
in the
is
WhatsApp
opening, madam.
also, sir.
Yes, madam. Now it is opening in my WhatsApp. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, madam.
Okay, we can keep it for 5-10 minutes, madam. After
Okay.
that
Okay.
only we have to close it. Maybe someone
Okay.
need it. When we are posting the link, short link, that's a option given in the
I
spreadsheet,
will.
Google form.
Yes.
That also we can keep.
Okay.
നമുക്കിത് ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്താലോ? ധന്യ മിസ്സേ.
ഓക്കെ, ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്യാല്ലേ?
അപ്പൊ താങ്ക് യു സുജിത്. കുറെ
ഓക്കെ.
ധന്യ, നിങ്ങൾ എന്നെ എല്ലാം ഓർമ്മിപ്പിച്ച് ചെയ്യിപ്പിച്ചതിന് താങ്ക് യു. ഗുഡ് നൈറ്റ്.
ഓക്കെ.
നല്ല ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്തോ.
ടീച്ചറെ, ധന്യ ടീച്ചറെ.
ആരാ? HOD യുടെ അത് ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്തോന്നോ?
ഓക്കെ, മറ്റേത്
ഞാൻ ലീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകും.